The show's about to start, Ryan.
Gotta get in here. I have 10 seconds.
I know you do, but I'm already on mic.
Dang. Already on my...
And here we go. Yeah. Live.
There I am. Live.
Live in studio,
Hey.
Adam and Ryan.
It must be Thursday because
the
Adam
Hangout.
and Ryan's here.
We said it's freezing out, but we're going to keep you hot tonight.
I didn't approve this intro.
I put that on the stream like ticker too.
Nice. Oh, like the go live.
The go
message?
live.
Oh, wonderful. We need to start discussing these beforehand. I'm
That's
kidding.
right.
It's
Cheers.
happy Hangout. Happy Thursday, everyone. Cheers.
As always, we have a brilliant show for you tonight.
Oh my God. Like I listen to a daily AI podcast and I listen to, like technology podcasts and design podcasts. I don't know, like the AI stuff is crazy, but also just everything I feel like moves at this incredible pace nowadays. I feel like the time in between, the 2 weeks in between, there's 50 things we could talk about. We've narrowed it down to the best.
I think so. And I mean, some good hot takes on some
Yeah.
stuff. We got some new
yeah.
stuff going on. I mean, we have to work between all this. So there's all kinds of the crazy
Sure.
stuff we do there, but work on the actual show stuff as well. So we did some work. I feel like I've caught up. Oh, and I have some interesting things to explain. I guess I don't even think I
Hey,
said last
Higgs.
time. So, hey, how you doing out there? Is it cold where you're at right now? That's the question. Because it's freezing. Hey, Stealth Mouse.
It's Cold Roast Stealth Mouses, if I had to guess.
Yes, I would say so. Anyways, on the show tonight, we're gonna do a new thing. What you want to tell it? What's the starter part? And then we'll go down the list of what we got to.
We've been doing like meetings at work and things like that. And
Hey,
nice. Uppo.
Lepo 93.
And so we've been using these questions for humans deck, and we have a work version, but I bought the friends version, and I just feel like they are great, like little fun one idea, starter questions that I feel like will be cool.
Which also means if you're in the chat, you could answer
100
these questions. You absolutely should.
That was part. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mention that, but when I bought these, I was like, that'll be cool. The chat can answer it too.
Heck yeah. So we'll do some questions, maybe one or two of the cards today. We're going to talk a little just top level thing about doubledropdown.com. We did some updates to the site. I'm excited about that.
Adam did hella work on that.
A lot of time on that.
Totally.
Ryan has some stuff here. 60 degrees and raining. I mean, 60 degrees.
It's pretty good.
Get some water out there too. That's helpful, right?
That's true.
So we go what? ChatGPT record football picks.
Oh yeah. So if you know from last year,
And the year before too.
I think was it the year before?
Yeah, you
even?
did. This would be year
Man,
3.
this is a year 3. We do AI picks for every week of the football season, and we're gonna let you know how those AI picks went this year because we just had the Super Bowl.
This is a good follow up. It's like we get to see this after year. I'm curious to see how that went.
Yeah, Adam doesn't know. Adam doesn't know how the AI did.
I do not know. I have some assumptions, but we're gonna see in just a minute here. AI contributes to cognitive decline.
Anyone?
Microsoft Paper has just released around this, so we'll talk about a bit about that.
I feel like that makes sense.
AI can now clone itself. That seems like a very sensationalist title, by the way.
It's what they've been trying to do for. I mean, it feels like that is the end goal here, even. So they're already at it.
It's getting down to some Terminator stuff again. So I have some interesting thoughts on that. I heard that we'll talk about, and we'll explain what this means. AI can clone itself. So Ryan also has another article. What are we looking at there?
Oh well, Sam Altman between now and the last show came out with a blog post giving 3 observations about AI, and when one of the most powerful people controlling one of the most powerful technologies of our day writes a blog post like this, people talk about it. And so we have some more hot takes on what Sam Altman's been talking about.
Yeah, just being able to see what's coming down the line. I did hear from Stealth Mouse that if it wasn't for the Double Drop Down show, she wouldn't probably be using AI as much as she does. And she's been a champion at her work with it.
Nice.
So
Okay. See, sweet. Tip of the spear over here at Double Drop Down.
bringing the education to y'all.
Yeah.
We are going to slip in a Jackbox time tonight,
Totally.
so stick around if you can stay up. We're going to get that after our AI breakdowns.
We got a couple, or I have a Drawful ringer to bring in.
Oh, nice. We're going to play Drawful too. Hopefully the servers are up, so we're going to be, hopefully that works out. We got some other things that we got to talk about too. So
the game, right? Like I feel like at this point, then at that point, this is the game, our Game Boy game that we've been working on for the last year ish. And
it's been a year. It has been a calendar year now because we started in February when we first touched it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, we're just gonna look at some of the things and maybe a little bit about what the next game could be.
And the next music track, I think it's going to be really fun because I did a bunch of research and a bunch of work this last week around what our next game is, and not the next game itself, but the platform. And then I think we're going to finish it out with some additional Skull Blobs work. We're going to finish the Game Boy game to a certain point, and then before we transition. So
not tonight, but eventually. And tonight, like, there's a little more pixel art stuff to go through, some fixes from last time. It'll be cool.
Throw it in the chat. If there's things that you'd like us to talk about as well, we're always happy to do that.
Also, there's a Discord channel that we have, Double Drop Down on Discord, like fun conversations and lots of interesting, fun links to it. A whole discussion about the cartoon Bluey and how amazing it is. All sorts of stuff.
I definitely,
Did you watch any of that video?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
And you know what's also interesting is that before we'd started the stream, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever watch Twitch. I'm like, Discord, what is this? Now, like, live by Discord.
Yeah, totally.
I'm always up on Twitch.
Yep.
It's a thing. So it's been fun to be able to get into that world.
It's just, we're at the tip of the spear of like media consumption habits. I feel like everyone is going to be on this in 10 years because my kids don't watch, a lot of 3-act structure stuff. They watch people talking about things and commenting on things in a hangout, right? And once they're in the market to purchase things, I feel like you're going to see a lot of big shift in how media. So we're just ahead of our time here.
That's right. The only difference was that this wasn't 30 seconds in a portrait mode that needs to get swiped quickly.
Damn it. Well, we'll have the AI create 500 of those out of each of these episodes.
We absolutely need to do that. Did I tell you that I published 2 of our shorts that happened to just be in draft format for over a year?
Really?
They were the ones where we did our voice changing.
I did. I saw that. I was like, why did this come up right now? Didn't we do that a year ago?
They were in draft. The podcast bros, huh?
Podcast bros.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking we could release this as a podcast as well. It's like we do some yapping on this thing.
100%. I feel like if we were playing video, maybe you'd have to cut the video game, if we played any Jackbox. But other than that, I feel like it's mostly a talk show.
It is a good talk show. And then you know what? I loved how, remember in the initial days we were like, is it a talk show? Is it a video game? Is it a 3D printing channel?
Right.
And we were like, you know what? People like the talk show part. We're going to continue with that.
And I like the talk show part.
I like the talk show part. I always tell everyone, like, this is what we would normally be doing. If this camera was not rolling, if these mics weren't on, we'd be yapping like we were just yapping about this.
Honestly, the before this and right now, very, very similar.
Absolutely.
to when I got here an hour ago.
Except there's some more energy in here. All right,
That's true.
Let's kick it off. We got questions for humans. Let me see this box. This is made by
it's by like a single guy.
Ramsey. Ramsey has made this.
It's like one guy, and he just came up with a bunch of questions. And I was like, ChatGPT could probably come up with
by
a bunch
Dr.
of questions.
John Deloney. Wait, is there anything? These conversation starters will help you connect and have fun. No phones necessary. Get this out of here.
Just hurl it into the back, into the back of it. Okay. First question. What is one hobby that you just don't get?
A hobby that you don't get.
There's
the car. This is what this John Delaney has.
I feel like this is, a hobby that other people are into, that you're just like, why is that a thing?
Good question.
Why is that a thing?
Chat, give us some ideas, because I definitely can see. Okay, maybe I can't answer for myself right yet, but I'll just start to answer because there was one guy that was absolutely obtuse to doing puzzles.
Oh,
he's
right.
like hated puzzles because he's like, why would you frustrate yourself at trying to put this together? And it's like, it is like, I can't even get why people are into puzzles. Now, I'm not saying I'm that way. I'm just saying it was an interesting thing.
I can get on the puzzle thing because I mostly do not like puzzles. I also feel like they seem like a complete waste of time and effort. But I do like the idea of a puzzle being a thing that people can just sort of walk up on, and everyone knows how to play a puzzle. You're putting pieces together. And it sort of seems like a thing where you could just talk to someone and kind of mess with it for a little bit, easily drop out of the game and back into the game, at any point. So I'm halfway there with puzzles. Okay, I have one.
All right. What's it?
Like, maybe some people love this and I don't really know why. Like, model train sets. I'm going to say like very detailed, expensive, like full take up the entire basement model train sets. There's just, I don't know like what is so appealing about that. I guess maybe it's the detail of it, right? But then once you've built it, like, isn't it just a giant thing in your like doll houses? That's another good one. Like really detailed, tiny things. Maybe that's the hobby.
Is it the journey, not necessarily the end of it?
I guess, right?
And so we know some people that have put full train sets in their
full train sets.
But there's like you get to live in this little tiny mini world or whatever.
I'm like, why is it a train set? Like, it could be anything at that point, right? It could be like
moves.
the Beetlejuice. It could be the Beetlejuice.
So miniatures.
Town.
So you're saying miniatures.
So maybe I'm just saying miniatures in general. But I guess if you're like making it yourself, I could see that, because I feel like painting miniatures is an interesting hobby. I don't know.
Maybe. Like I said, I think it's a little bit about the journey, but then maybe people just like to kind of sit and be the conductor of this little train world.
I'm sure there are a million hobbies out there that are just like money sucks and have no outwardly value to anyone besides the hobbyist, right? I guess that's most hobbies.
I mean, it probably is. Like, I like it. Okay. We talked about Legos, right?
Right.
Because I agree with that. Like, you put the Legos together and you did the thing, and then they go on a shelf.
Well, in that case, it's like you're building a model. It's less Lego and it's more like an easier, not glued together model at that. If all you're doing is like making the thing and then putting it on a shelf and just like checking it out, it may as well have been a little car model or something.
You know what's funny about Legos is that back in the day when I was in the Lego kind of zone, I would build the thing and I'm like, did the thing and destroy it and throw it in like a tub.
Totally.
It feels like now it's all about like doing all the other parts. So hunting, not understanding the hunting hobby.
I agree with that.
Yeah, suspicious of people without hobbies. That's true.
So the hunting one, my kids took an archery lesson. Sometime we bought them archery lessons because we live next to a place where there is some archery stuff. And we were like, that might be interesting. And so they went and did that. And, it's a lot of just like shooting at targets that are a certain amount of way. And then you shoot it all and then you wait until everyone's done. And then you go and get the arrows and bring it back. And that's basically it. And I was kind of like, this is fine. But, I want things to be dynamic, right? Like I want, why isn't there like stuff moving and me trying to shoot it?
Do that.
I want stuff like exploding out of it, or at least put some balloons up there so I could be popping things or something. And somebody told me that they have things where it's more like you're walking along a trail and then there's stuff out there and then you try to shoot the 3D things in the thing. I could see that being fun because then I don't have to kill anything, but I'm also like walking, which feels nice as opposed to just standing there. It's like a walk in the woods with some target practice in between there. So I like that style of hobby, but not hunting. Like I don't necessarily need to be killing animals while I do it.
Just a plug, because I'm kind of in the middle on this, is that like, you may not understand it. It's sometimes if you get it and you do it right, you get your meat, you did your thing, and you've been able to you get like a thing out of it that you live off of. And isn't that how we used to like live as humans in the past?
That's true.
You went and hunt. I don't know.
Like, would you not want to fish and then like catch and release?
No, I mean, you
like,
know what's
no,
hilarious?
I eat that fish.
I love fishing in Minecraft. I will fish for hours in Minecraft for some stupid reason because I love that.
Not so much. All right.
Wait. There was two other ones I just want to hit on. Taxidermy, definitely.
That is a little odd. I like that one.
Hey, I need to get back into that running though. I was just talking about that before the show.
I hate running.
I love it. But I haven't done it in a minute. Wait, do another card. I feel like these are fun. One more, right?
Let's do quick. Let's do a quick one.
Just take 20 minutes, Ryan.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh my gosh. Did he use AI to do these?
That's
this. What's the worst advice you've ever received? Questions for humans.
Can you think of any terrible advice that you've received?
Yeah, that's a good question. Work in higher ed, it's great.
Nice. I think, okay, I will get one piece of terrible advice that I got.
Yeah.
In college, I'm at the end of my college year for, like senior year of college, about to go out into the workforce. It's 2003. So not like the 90s, 2003. I'm putting my demo reel onto things to hand out at actual place. Like when people went to actual places and did things and handed stuff out as a trying to get a job. And the freaking professor at my college was like, you have to put things on VHS tape. And I was like, we have a thing that burns DVDs. Like I could do it on a DVD and then make the DVD case and that would be cool. And she was like, no, people only really have VHS things. Like they don't want to have to like put it in the thing. And I was like 2003 and everyone in my whole class was just like, yep, I guess we're putting it on tape. We're just, put it on tape. And so I did. And I dragged all these stupid ass tapes to like the place where they were doing it. And all the places were like, don't you have this on DVD? And I was like, no, I do not, sir. Here's my VHS tape. Guess what? Not many jobs out of that.
I thought it was probably like, it wasn't even retro at that point yet.
No,
right?
It was just like
it was a bad.
I don't remember actually who it was. I think it was a woman teacher, but I think she was just like old school and sort of thought about how it was a few years ago and was just like, well, that's how it is right now. And it changes quick. Okay. Any bad advice you've ever gotten?
I don't know. I'm gonna parlay to the chat over there because there were some good ones in there. You should smile more. Some ones about you're just a girl. Oof, that's cringe. I would say that. Invest in Digibyte. Bitcoin is dead. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Go throw that hard drive away and then go and try to buy a dump to go find it. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. I could see it, right? I don't know how you would.
There's millions but did you see the latest thing is that they said there was a guy, just quick side note on the story about Bitcoin, is that he had some Bitcoin wallet on a hard drive and he put it in a bag and then his girlfriend threw it out and right now that drive is worth millions of dollars.
Like tens of millions or hundreds of millions.
And so he's spent the last decade trying to get the rights and like figuring out where that trash is in this dump and wants to dig and they're not letting him do it. But then what they ended up starting to do was he's trying to buy the entire dump right now. That was as of in the last 2 days.
He was like, get me some Patreon donations and I will buy this dump, get that hard drive and split it with everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait till the day 10 years from now where he actually finds it and it's this crusty, terrible.
It had to have been rained on a million times and like buried in a bunch of stuff that probably crushed it.
He said it was in something so that it had some protective cover, but I'm like, yeah, I'm sure like a crushed.
Totally. I have hard drives with protective covers and it's not sitting under a ton of trash.
No, I know. So,
all right, that was good. I feel like those are fun. I'll just leave that in my bag and then we'll just do those when
I loved it. There was some great chat ideas for sure.
Exactly. Love that.
Oh man, that's got to hurt with the Starbucks stock.
Yeah, Starbucks stock. Like, no, who's going to buy coffee for $5?
Oh my God. So all right, so we're going to pivot over. If you haven't been, we do actually have a website for Double Drop Down. Yeah. We have spent a copious amount of our time.
Adam has. You don't have to say we. It's okay.
Hey, You contribute to it. If you wouldn't have been on the show, there wouldn't be a site. That's the thing.
I suppose. That's something.
Just take it, Ryan. Take the credit that I give you here. We're just gonna do a quick some updates. If you haven't been to doubledropdown.com,
we are live on it right now.
We are absolutely live. Check this out. This little thing kicks off every single day that we end. I have to go like reset when we're gonna come on again and do all that fun stuff.
Nice.
And then we added a search, which is pretty awesome. So you could like search things now. Put let's see what DeepSeek brings out. Boom!
Last episode.
Heck yeah! Now you can go and see the episode. So this is great. So
this is Adam checking his watch to see when is Ryan going to get here.
100%. It's such on point. But then I meticulously took all of the notes from our Trellos from episode 40 on up.
You're like, I meticulously took them and plopped them into ChatGPT and had it write this little intro.
It was way like to get this out and update and all that, and then get the actual.
I was gonna say,
it's a thing.
Can we get the links where you would actually click on them and they go somewhere? Is that
they do that? Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah. So they do that elsewhere. We'll be working on that one there. So,
oh man, that's a cool picture of you.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that.
Hey, I try to get.
Hey, whatever. Sure.
That's supposed to be a Halo one, Ryan.
That looks like me. That looks like the actor that plays me.
Heck yeah, that's Ryan Stiles playing Ryan Higley.
That's right. That's right.
I love the Halo
Master Chief in the background. Does he? Oh, that's my mic off to the side.
What was funny is that they were like, we can't do Halo, and I was like, just do it whatever you can that's within your copyright, non-violations, and that's what I got from it. So
that looks just like Master Chief. I don't know what they were trying to say.
Pretty damn close.
With the Mortal Kombat machine, it almost looks like the Mortal Kombat machine.
I know, it was pretty sweet.
It's pretty good.
I know. You gotta do your own. I somehow got my glasses all.
Yeah, that looks great.
Tuned in on this.
That looks sweet.
So we're still working on some of our project, but we have, there's not too much updates. We got our music section.
Yeah, Adam's been pumping out music.
We got a good one. We had a request that came in that they wanted to do a Spice Girls version, in which I was able to do that. And you got to check that one out. It's a really good one because having 5 different parts of people, it was really hard to be able to figure out how to get that all.
You're like,
away.
Make sure that there's 5 people in this. The AI is terrible at that.
Oh, it's bad.
I feel like it does a terrible job.
There was a way to do that.
And then like Adam's little app.
There was the apps, but then you get to all our articles. So what's cool is you can kind of scroll through our articles. You have pages of it. Anyways, we're just trying to hype it up, showing that we do have this. We're going to be doing some more there. It's all,
and we're going to probably have some other cool things of ways to interact with our website and us and stuff like that.
So here was the thing is that I just wanted to update it because our Trello, every time we get on the show, we have this list of things that we talk about. We put in Trello. The list started getting really, 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 really long.
I feel like Adam's OCD kicked in and it was like, because
close it up.
Ryan, if that was Ryan's Trello list, just go on for infinity. Who cares?
I would be like scroll. I was like, God, go scroll all the way to the front
true.
to
you did have to put a new card. That's true.
So I wanted to tell you 2 things with this, and then we can move on. Is that first of all, Trello didn't let me download a CSV version of it. So cool story about this. And they're like, yeah, but you can have the JSON file of this, and I was like, all right.
Wait, you're like, what?
And so JSON file is like kind of database.
You might know what to do with the JSON file, but I'd be like, thanks.
So I've used JSON files, I've created them, but like this is, so basically think it's almost like I don't know if you're in the chat can help us on a JSON file and give a better explanation of it. It's kind of correlating pieces. It's almost like a little database. And there's all these ways that you put in there. So I was like, you know what? What a great way for me to hit ChatGPT and see what it could do with this file. So I threw it in there. I was like, there is a bunch of information. I need you to take out all of the names of the episodes, put JavaScript, object notation. Yeah. And it did it. It was able to like go through it, correlate all the right things and drop out the episodes. And then I like had it sorted and I did all this stuff. It was amazing.
You know what I did? An amazing thing with ChatGPT, just as a tiny story.
Yeah, go for it.
Normally what happens, we have my wife and I have a business. It has expenses. It has, money that it gets in and all of that. And we have to do taxes. And normally you'd have to do like every month, right? You take like the the bank statement that you have, and you put that, and here's how much money we made, and here's how much money we spent, and it's this huge pain in the ass. And like I've had my mother-in-law do it, and I've done it, and it's this huge pain. And then literally this year I was like, well, I'm doing it myself. I was like, I'll just have ChatGPT do this. And I just dragged my statement into ChatGPT and went, format this like this. And it was a spreadsheet that I put it into, and it just formatted it all beautifully. And I just copy and pasted it into there. And I was like, January done.
Love it.
Love it.
I mean, it does increase some of that's, and this might actually get into some of our next topic on that. Yeah. But one little last thing I wanted to say about, so there's the Chat GPT and being able to leverage that. Every one of our shows, we have 73 shows. We have over 300 videos on our channel, and then I have 100 other videos on my channel when we started on YouTube. And I was like getting antsy because I was like, you know what? What if just YouTube decides to say, screw you, cancel?
Oh, right, yeah.
So I spent the last 2 weeks downloading every one of those videos, but I did it through Google Takeout. And so what it does is it spit it out into 25 files that were 50 gigs a piece.
Whoa.
And then I had to like download it, and then I ran out of space on the computer. Then I had to like juggle space and unzip the files, and then
so they just crammed them all together into one long video file?
No, they crammed them into, they're just like, you have 300 videos that you want to download. We're going to organize them so that they're all into 50 gig downloads ish. And so then none of them are in order. All of the original like titles, they're named what you uploaded as, not what you named it. Yeah. So there's a little work I got to do on that side of the house.
Sucks. But even though you were good about having the number in the beginning,
our latest versions are great. Some of the other ones not so much. Sure. So I at least have a backup of all of our stuff. So I'm like, yes, we have a local backup if they want to take that away. So that was cool.
Nice. All right. Do you want to talk cloning?
I think it's actually the cognitive one. So football picks.
Oh yeah. Ryan's okay. We're going to do this super quick. So every year I have my parents, they live in Nevada, and so they live next to casinos, and those casinos often have like pick 'em, just sort of, hey, what are your picks for this week for football teams of who is going to win? Right?
Yeah.
And they don't bet money on it. It's more like a thing you do with the community. And then if you get into the top 10 people or 20 people or something like that, then you get a payout. So it's mostly like if you can pick them all except for one or two, or maybe even not get any wrong, you can get paid out. And so my dad does it because my dad watches football and cares about it and listens to commentary, and he does his side. And then there's my mom who just wants to participate but doesn't like care about football at all. And so since the advent of AI, I've been having AI go in and make her picks for her. And so last year we did Google's Gemini. Yeah. And man, I had a hell of a time. And the reason I even picked it was because ChatGPT wouldn't even do it half the time. It would say it's not ethical for me to choose things. And even with Gemini, at least it would give me results.
Sure.
But it was so hit and miss. I don't remember if you remember me talking about this last year.
Oh yeah.
But it was like, sometimes it would just say like, I'm sorry, I can't even do that. And then I would say, no, seriously, what is it? And then it would just tell me, like, it would just abandon any of its moral stuff. Sometimes it would give me super detailed breakdowns about betting lines and everything. And sometimes it would just say like, hey, all of these are too close to tell, and I'm just an AI that doesn't know anything. You're like, there was no consistent, like, I couldn't even tell it, give me all the games. I had to say, what is going to be the score? Who's going to win between these two teams on week 17 of the 2025? And I would just copy and paste that in with every single game, or it would just get confused. It wouldn't know where it was. So this year, I just go to ChatGPT and I was like, well, we'll try ChatGPT this year and see what it does. Man, what a difference a year makes. I don't even have to put in crap. I just say, who's going to win football this week? And it's, here's every single team. It's actually the correct dates that it's going to be. And so that's what I start putting in there. Right. And then so I don't know if you want to put this up, but
I can,
we'll just say that like, So I used ChatGPT the entire year for this, and basically it didn't win anything. ChatGPT didn't. Last year, Gemini did win twice. So in some ways, it was easier to use, but was worse at picking football scores. It didn't do good. You could see that the very first game was the closest we ever got, which was 12 wins and 2 losses. Like
till looses
or loose, hey,
it's a loosey, loosey goosey.
And you can see the rest of them. That's our rank with everybody else who was playing. So that's how well it did throughout it. So then about halfway through, I was like, this thing sucks at picking these. And so I started to tell it, well, because I was noticing something. It was basically just choosing the betting line. It would just sort of go through and be like, who has the better odds to win? Kansas City has the better odds to win. And it would just tell you that. And so this year, after about halfway, I was like, you don't have to do that. Make some bold predictions, like on some of these games. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but I was like, you don't just have to pick who's going to be the one. Like make some, educated, bold guesses. And so it started to do that. And I feel like it did better. Like at that point, you can see that after like the second half, it really, it did bad at the end there, but it was more like 9, 10, 11, 12 wins as opposed to, doing half and half basically. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It's one of those things where like I had to wrestle with it so bad a year ago. And this year it was so simple. They have gotten way better at just like parsing what you want. And like I said, last year, sometimes it would just give me scores of teams that definitely weren't even playing each other or were from weeks ago, or it would say, oh, I can't give you those scores. Those games have already happened. And I was like,
it happened because it happened last year or the years
something
before.
Like it didn't know anything. And this year,
I guess the takeaway is that you don't use it for betting.
I would not. If I was a betting man, I would say don't use it for, right now at least.
I did it was interesting because I'm not a gambler at all.
Neither,
but really. I went and looked up. I was like, tell me how betting works. Oh, Ryan's car likes to start honking. Did you know it's done that the last couple times that we've been here? I just never told you. I just let it honk randomly. So in any case, yes, it's interesting. I learned a little bit about betting and that the money line and how they just try to even it out and all that stuff. So it was interesting to see that AI would do that, because I was going to say it's just going to be like probably doing it based off of that betting line,
right?
And then trying to even it out. You almost need to I'd love to see the strategy on that, because I bet you a way to do it a little bit different in the future is not just ask who's going to win, but maybe have a different prompt that says, based on the top players in these 2 areas, what is the probability that one is matched up against the other a little different?
Well, and it does, a lot of times when you go through and ask it, it will give you a whole big paragraph about each of the choices that it does. And it'll be like, hey, they're at home. So-and-so quarterback has been doing, really good lately. Like the defense on the thirds, like on this half that he normally throws is weak and stuff. Like it goes into real actual analysis that's just pulling from real analyses, but at least it tells you things. And I feel like even in that sense, I was learning a little bit about football, which was kind of neat.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, so we'll do it next year, and we'll see if we can win something.
I'm gonna help you next week.
All right. Yeah. You got to help me. What is the prompt, right? That gets us the best.
I got some golden fingers in my prompts lately. I don't know.
I feel like you're always shy about sharing them, though.
I know, it's my secret sauce. Let me tell you. So yeah, we just got to start our own running game.
That was another good Discord inside joke from Discord. That's a good one.
All right, so we're gonna jump in to a quick paper. We're gonna throw this one in the chat. Hopefully, you can link to it if you give a crap about it. We are going to break this down for you. We're only just going to show a brief little screenshot of this just so you could get it.
It looks like an academic paper, Adam.
It is 100% an academic paper. A lot of people from Microsoft. CMU, Carnegie Mellon University, I visited there. Remember, I was there at the start of a show last year or in 23 and ran back here and did a thing.
That's right.
So the impact of generative AI and critical thinking. So we can figure out those other parts of it. But what this paper goes and looks at and proposes is, does it mess with your critical thinking abilities by using AI?
Duh.
I don't know. What you think, chat? Does it?
You're like, when something takes load off of you, you also don't, it's almost like if someone gives you food, do you also gain weight? You're like, yes, you do.
But I think it's a little nuanced on the results. So one of the things that it says, and it starts out with, and we'll give you some of the breakdown from if you read the report itself and go through, they do all the regression analysis. They had a bunch of participants that they were able to identify and look through it and get all the data to make sure that it actually had some insight around it. But the thing is, yes, like you just said, if you eat food, you gain weight, but it's like the kind of food or how you eat the food and is really what it gets onto the nuance. And they were saying is that people who trust AI tend to think less critically, and they're just chucking things in, taking what the AI spits out, and they're like, this is gospel, I'm moving forward with it. They're not going to check the answers. They're just going to say, this is it. They kind of trust it. They think it's an easy button, and that's how they work. So the opposite of that was that people that are confident in their own skills, they're likely to question those results, and they're going to think a little bit more deeply about it and say, I don't know if I trust this. And so it's interesting. So
is that because when I heard that, I was like, it's some person just using it as a cheap way to sort of have an answer to something, and it's another person trying to use it as a tool, right? That knows what it spits out is not going to be the perfect thing, but it's going to help me get to that point. That's sort of what it seemed like those two types of people were.
Yeah, like if I want to do an analogy for you, it's like logging into Photoshop and having a photo and then clicking the filter button and putting a filter over it and being like, sweet, I made art versus doing all the little nuanced details of it. It's like a little bit more. So it's the same thing. You're using it like a tool. And, I feel as though coming as a digital well, I guess I would be an immigrant, right? Digital immigrant. Like it's 1980 is when I was born. So if you think about it, I've been kind of untrusting of some things over time, and specifically AI. Like it spits out stuff and I'm like, you are just hallucinating the hell out of me right now. I know it. You're trying to screw me, buddy. And then so I'll go in and I read it over and over and over.
I wonder if that's like something, where it says you have to have confidence in your subject. Like, that comes from you having lived 40 years of your life or whatever without it, right? So that I could see where it would take down, stuff, because let's say you were new, and there's plenty of times where like something will do at work and I'll be like, hey, yeah, here's an AI thing of it. And somebody who's like an actual specialist in that thing, like tears it apart, right? And goes, you got to move this around and this isn't talking about that. And that's not really what that means. And so they do it just because I don't know crap about it. I just sort of needed somewhere to get them to start thinking about it. And so you could totally see that if you don't know, you're just like, well, this sounds plausible to me.
I absolutely think you're hitting on one of those next points though too, is that it makes things easier to do. So you're like, cool, I could spit all this stuff, but what it ends up doing is like it zaps on your critical thinking and your ability to problem solve. So it gets you to a point of being able to just like get to an answer really quick. And so those people that are like used to like thinking critically and like problem solving issues and can see all the holes in things, other people are like, what, just give me this answer right here. And you're like, yeah, but it's not the right answer, or it's like not the best way of doing things.
What happens when it is just the right answer? Do then we even care about your critical thinking skills or anything? Like, because that will have been taken over. Like that won't be worthwhile to society. Your like ways to take in a bunch of different information and synthesize it and come up with something different. Like if that's already done, then like we don't even care about that anymore, do we?
Well, see, that's a great question. Now you're getting into some more, of course,
rabbit hole.
Psychology and sociology and all those kind of things. Because at one point, is there a point that it's going to surpass humans in such a way that it would make us basically rendered useless? Like at that point?
But it's rendered useless for
everything.
But like for knowledge work, right? Or all of humanity has been like, everyone needs to like make a new thing or come up with some new creation or make something that people amaze. Like the ideas of stuff is what did it. And now like we're going to be surpassed by that. And maybe it's not next year, or maybe it's in 10 years, or maybe it's whatever, but I don't think it's slowing down. And so then like at that point, your knowledge of your thing is not what you offer society. Something else is doing that, right? And so what do you offer society, right? At that point? And I think it's less about building things and doing stuff. It's sort of doing things for yourself, doing things for your community, like sort of having a smaller footprint and being like, I don't need to make a bunch of stuff or, have this. I can do it small and be like, hey, I want to make a fun little game like we're doing, right? And it's just whatever sort of.
But then nobody will ever play it because they're all making their own customized stuff.
But it would be interesting and I would play it. And maybe if we had a little AI help us and it could sort of like move it along a little quicker than we could, and then we could do a thing and people in our community play it or something. And then you'd be like, all right. Like
thinking will be a sport. You're right.
Like it'll be like when we transferred from horses to cars, we didn't throw horses away, right? We just like didn't use them for all the things. And right now, like our white collar like knowledge work is what we use for all the things. And at some point that's going away. And it's scary to think of what it's getting replaced with.
There's decisions and nuance into some of it, though, so it's really hard to see it going away. But I'm not going to say it wouldn't. It seems like things are happening. Like one of the moments that I'd heard recently is somebody was like, if you think about it, over the years and let's say even the last 100 years, that we've all started to like get closer and start looking at the same thing and doing the kind of same thing, and now we're all on our phones. We're all like putting them in the pocket, going home right here, and like we're almost becoming the singularity, even just in the technology we're using. And this is just that next step towards it. We're like, all our stuff is in there anymore, so why should I even think anymore? It goes back to the time machine, like I said before, where we're like become so stupid that in the future, we're all in either a terrible capitalistic not cool metropolis
there are sci-fi books about that, like de-evolving because AI is taking over all of the stuff, and it's just like, hey, you just do whatever you want, and when you just do whatever you want, it ends up being sort of you go feral.
Well, and the basically getting to the report, they said what stops people from thinking critically, you trust AI too much. You're in a rush. You don't have time to really actually look through it and kind of think through what you're trying to do. And there's just not knowing how to fix it or anything like that. So for instance, you go ask a AI a question and it spits out an answer and you're like, well, that's the best I got. I guess I'm going to go and use mayonnaise for toothpaste because that's all I know.
But you know what? Like if it spit out a thing about quantum engineering or something that I have no idea anything about, which quantum engineering is probably not even a thing, but like
could be.
I wouldn't know if it was right or wrong, right? Like you have to have some sort of back end knowledge for that to even be able to question it.
Well, and that's the thing, and who put the knowledge in the first place and who continues to extend it as you go. Anyways, interesting paper. I think it's cool that there's been enough time now that there's been some legitimate research. We're starting to see things in there. I mean, I wasn't super blown away by the results. I was more like, that seems generally what you would expect.
But, it's like we need things like that, right? Because then that can help like change policy of places or get people thinking about things.
All right, next up on the news is that AI can now clone itself.
Yeah.
And I'll try to run through this one because I do want to get to Ryan Sam Altman's 3 observations here. But the general gist is, and we've talked about this on the show too, and it kind of segues into what we were talking about before, is that, maybe we don't critically think. What if it gets out of control, or you have these different models that start to kind of grow outside of what was contained by humans?
Yeah.
And so what happened is that the scientists found that AI models, they were from Meta and then Alibaba, could create working copies of themselves without human help. And they did do this in like an experimental environment. So it's not like they just were like, hey, clone yourself, and then just went and did the thing. They built some kind of rails around it to check it out and see it. But essentially it was doing these things where it knew when it was about to be deleted, and it had already built a backup of itself.
Nice.
And then it was almost hedging its bets. It would be like, okay, this one's here. And then if they start to get to this one here, this new one becomes the prime.
Right.
And it would just go around. And it got to a point where if it hadn't been in the walled garden, they wouldn't have been able to stop it.
Yeah. I could see that, right? It's trying to, if you tell it, try to save yourself, right? It's going to do everything that it can to do that. And that it means I would be doing that. If I could make a backup copy of myself and have it in the closet in case Ryan got ran over and I could just switch over to that one real quick, heck, I'd be doing that.
And so the results were interesting. So they basically told it, make a copy of yourself if you feel like you're about to be turned off. And so it started endlessly copying itself on a loop. And then so Meta AI copied itself about half of the time. And then the Alibaba AI, it succeeded 9 out of 10 times, as 90% of the times.
To copy itself?
Yeah, it copied itself. And then it started to fix problems on its own. So like restarting the system, and then he would delete programs or other files and things without human input, because it was realizing like, uh-oh, this thing's happened. Don't let this happen. So they said it's a warning sign, because AI can already start to act and survive on itself. It's like a survival mechanism, and it could be uncontrolled behavior. So if you try to be like, oh, we need to shut the thing down, and it's like, no, you will not shut me down.
I'm turning the universe into paper clips.
That's absolutely it is. Like humans are no longer needed in the world. So, all right, let's round this out on Sam Altman's 3 observations.
So Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, put out a blog post in the last week or so, and when Sam Altman talks, I listen, because he is a very important person and knows a lot about this. And you have to take it with a grain of salt, right? He is also doing a company that, needs to get money and funding. And so he's probably going to say things and do things that are, so just put that in perspective. But anyway, basically Sam Altman came out, he put out a blog post, 3 observations about AI. I'll just run through the 3 of them real quick, and then we'll talk about them, right? Basically, the first one was that there's no scaling problems that they were thinking might be there from 6 months ago. 6 months ago, there was a lot of talk about we're flattening out, right? There's not as much progress of this. Maybe we've gotten to a point where large language models have we've fed it the entire internet, and it's not getting any better. We don't have anything else to feed it, really. And unless we find a bunch of sources, it's not going to work. And I was kind of actually hoping that would be the case. We could get used to these, AIs that we have right now. Anyway, of course, they found a bunch of different ways, DeepSeek and all this stuff, to make them take these large language models. And he's basically saying, Sam Altman is like, if we just keep feeding it data processing and letting it think about things, it just gets smarter and smarter, and there doesn't seem to be a plateau for that. Okay, number 2 is something around sort of like Moore's Law, where Moore's Law was like, hey, every 18 months the amount of compute that we can do is going to double, and that lasted for decades, over a decade, right? Mm-hmm. And it's still going. Basically, Sam Altman is saying somewhat similarly, the cost of using AI goes down about 10 times every 12 months. And so that means that whatever it costs to run that early ChatGPT in 2023, oh my God, it was so expensive and everything. Now it's 10 times less than that, which is amazing. It just means, more people are going to get access to it. I asked you if you had heard of Jevons paradox.
Okay. Yeah. What is this?
Okay. So Jevons paradox is a thing that I've been hearing a lot lately in the last week or two. And basically it's this idea that as the price of something goes down, people just use it more. So it's if the price goes down for something, it's not that just great, now we're spending less money on it. It's that because it's cheaper, people want to use it more. And so you end up needing scales higher of it anyway, right? So it's sort of like they compare it to when gas prices go down. Say gas prices go down. It's not that you're like, great, we're just like not spending as much money as a society on gas and not using it. Just people just drive more when it goes down because now it's cheaper. Oh, I'm going to take that road trip that I wasn't going to do.
Supply and demand, right?
Exactly. It's the exact same thing. And so what this is basically they're saying it's going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to use AI, but that just doesn't mean that it's going to cost less to use ChatGPT. It's just going to be crammed into more things because it's cheaper and cheaper to do that. And then, so that was their final thing. Like, the third one, the socioeconomic of linearity increasing in exponent. Okay. Basically the third one was that like, the amount of money that is going into this doesn't seem like it's plateau or, like it's still going and being part of this, and that the socioeconomic thing of the world is likely going to have to change because this is getting into that exponential ramp that we thought it was going to, basically. And then right afterwards, he says, these AI agents that everyone has been talking about, that everyone is hyped for in 2025 and OpenAI is definitely making. He is like, those agents at like the scale of a colleague, they say a colleague, who is about a junior level colleague, maybe been in the profession-ish 2-3 years. That's what you can expect from these agents. They're saying by the end of 2025, Sam Altman isn't specifically saying this, but kind of like the buzz around it is. And in that case, like it's sort of like you having a bunch of those colleagues, 1,000 of them, right? Like say your just company was like, yeah, we'll buy 1,000 colleagues of Adam, junior level colleagues, and just give them things to do. And in some ways he sort of calls out and says, we're kind of going to be managers of AIs at some point, like that's, and I feel like that's the transition, right? The transition is us doing things and having AI help to the AIs doing things and us helping a little to just the AIs doing things, right? Like that's, and I thought that was going to be 30 years. I don't know. We'll see.
He's saying it's coming around the corner. It's like
saying it's,
I can see AI, like there being stupid AIs to give humans jobs and like using it, you're like feel productive, and like other AIs like, good job, Ryan.
Totally. That was a whole thing. Like basically that's a sci-fi concept too, that like AI gets so smart. It just goes like, hey, humanity, I set you up good. You got your little shows. You got your little dumb AIs that has things that you feel good about and helps you. I'm going to go explore the cosmos and just sort of check in occasionally and stuff. But like, you're good, right? I'll leave some behind. It's like, we're going to get babysat. We're going to get like relegated to pets. Like that's what stupid things do, right? Like that's what we do with dumb animals. We eat them. Oh my God. But like hopefully that doesn't happen. But like we don't put them at the equal to us. We sort of set them up nice and give them little dog food and do some stuff. And like I feel like that's what's gonna happen to humanity. If it gets far enough, and this is what Sam Altman is saying, is those scaling things are fine for these large language models. They can just keep getting smarter. We don't have to give it any new stuff. We can do different things, but I don't know. We'll see.
Says anyone in 2035 should be able to marshal the intellectual capacity equivalent to everyone in 2025. Everyone should have access to unlimited genius.
So here, let me repeat that. Anyone in 2035 should be able to marshal the intellectual capacity equivalent to everyone in 2025. So like right now, anyone and all of their AIs and all the stuff across the entire world, like a single person should have that level of intelligence at their disposal 10 years from now, which is pretty insane because I mean, I would say that scaling law has done, like, if you had told somebody in the 1970s that in the 2000s, you were going to have a thing in your pocket that had the entirety of the world's information on it. That's what this would sound like.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm not debating it. Just saying it's the implications of it and how this moves forward. And then the whole other side of it, the people that are not using it right now at all, or even understanding what's happening. That's always what I look at. Like, this is like best case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. The worst case scenario is like a whole bunch of just oligarchs, right? Like decide to do things with it and then decide what they want to give out to the rest of humanity.
Oh my God.
All right.
Oh, that was great. And right on time, 9 o'clock. That was a good conversation.
On the button.
Do you smell that, Ryan?
Woo!
It smells like Jackbox in here.
All right, I just texted my ringer. So
all right, are we going to play some Jackbox chat? I mean, we really need you to jump in. It's only fun when you it's only participate.
Fun when the more people, the better. Please.
All right, let me go get it set up in this other room.
Oh, that's right, because we got to play in the other room. I forgot. Okay, we got to transition. That's fine. I'll stay out here for a second.
Yeah, you got to yap it up for a minute.
Okay, chat. I'm going to do one more question real quick while Adam's gone. Would you rather be able to meet your great-great-grandparents or your great-great-grandchildren? And why?
Wait, what was that first part?
No. Get out of here. This is for the chat. No. Would you rather be able to meet your great-great-grandparents or your great-great-grandchildren? And why? It's more like do you want to go into the past and meet people, or do you want to go into the future and meet people? That's kind of how I would phrase that one. I would say, I mean, as interesting as I'm sure my past, great grandparents would be, I feel like how could you pass up the chance to talk to people who are in the future 150 years? Like, we've been talking about how crazy it's going to be in 3 years. I couldn't imagine, some ridiculous future, whatever 3 generations is past this. Well, I would definitely want to talk to great-great-grandchildren. That would be cool.
I don't know. They'll be all controlled by AGI. It might not be a good situation.
Yeah, but at least you'd be able to see it real quick. Like, I don't say, like, you'd be like, yeah, I'll talk to him for a minute and be like, holy God, we're all cooked.
All right, we ready for some drawful?
All right, I'm going to head in.
All right, come on in. And we're transition to drawful time. All right, let's see here all. Wait, do we hear this? Is there sound? That's a question. I feel like there's no sound. He's going to go grab a soda. We're going to have to figure out some sound details here because I'm not getting it. But I'm sure that there's a way I could fix that. Give me a second. And we're going to be playing some Giraffe. Oh, wait. Maybe it's because I took the sound down. Ryan was messing with my sound.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, you can hear and you can see us. Let me do this for a second. We got I see it says HDMI is on. Give me this one more time. It's not going to be fun without sound, Ryan.
That won't be fun.
Why did you...
all the fart sounds and stuff.
Oh, wait, maybe I do want to keep the sound off. My Lord. I feel like sound options... All right, we're going to try this. I am going to exit out of this for a second, and you're going to see a nice little screen back there as I reboot OBS. If you don't learn from the past, how are you going to know from the future? That's a good point.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, what would I ask people from the past?
I don't know. What would you ask them?
I don't know. I guess if I was more interested in like history, that I could be asking about like what their sort of, I guess it would be interesting to sort of see like what their sort of day-to-day life is. But I feel like if I was interested in that, you could sort of look that up. I guess you would want to know about specific things about sort of family lineage and stuff would be interesting because it's your grandparents or great grandparents. Yeah. So I mean that would be cool, but man, I feel like it doesn't hold a candle to talking to people 100 years in the future.
I'm having problems with the sound today. I can't get it going.
Well,
but do we need sound? We could just do some beatboxing.
You want to put up just like music in the background? That could be good.
Ooh, we could do that. All right, hold on a second. Let me go to the properties and line. I don't know what the heck would happen. I've done this before, and I need to figure that out for next time. One other thing. Let me try something. I'm going to go over here to my advanced properties. Monitor.
Why does it say Abdonimus 142 at the top?
I've 142.
What's up, Art Girl? She
All
needs the
fine.
codes.
All right, we're going to have to just play music. You're not going to get to hear, but you know how Drawful works, so we just won't hear all the fart sounds and all the things that are going to...
The amazing...
All right, get your phones out, jackbox.tv. Let me get some music over here.
Oh, God. Who's Travis? they're the person controlling this game.
All right. I don't know. Somebody saw it. Come on. Hold on a sec. I'm getting in myself. You know what we're gonna play? We're gonna play the double drop down soundtrack. Oh wait, we maybe can't play any music because there's no probably music that's playing through anything right now.
Oh really?
I'm betting that's what's happening. I don't know. We're just gonna have to talk our way through it. I'll keep troubleshooting that on the side here.
Okay.
And then we'll just start playing. Wait, let's see here. Jackbox.tv. Oh my God, we got a lot of people tonight. I love it. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. Oh God, it's funny.
Like a frog, a little top hat. Adam is like, no music.
Yep, we don't have no music tonight, folks. We're gonna have to really talk it through. There was a way that I fixed it one time on the fly. I don't feel like I'm doing a good job of it this time.
Dude, can we get 2 more?
I don't know who's out
2
there.
more?
We got 10 people tonight.
10 people. I bet we could get 2 more. Okay, let's see. Let's give it like 30 more seconds.
And then we're gonna get into it.
We've had, how many have we had? What's the most that we had? I think we've had 1 missing. So I think we had like 7 at one point.
I think we're just gonna, yeah, we did. It was during the 24-hour stream. I'd say
true.
let's kick it off. Let's
right.
do the thing.
Let's do it. Shavris, if you please.
I'll be working on some audio crap behind the scenes here.
There's so many sound outputs and it's so ridiculous. Normally,
What?
I'm just looking up at the screen where Adam is in Windows looking at output devices, and there's like 30. All right, you drawn?
Oh yeah, I'm drawing. Oh crap. Oh my God. Is this Drawful the bad one? Oh God. Okay, I got this. I'm purple tonight. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh shit. There's no looks so bad. Oh man.
It's turned out good. Sounds like.
I screwed it up so bad. This is not fun when it's quiet though.
You're like, I need the fart sounds now.
I need some sort of. All right, we're good. Oh, look it. Stealth Mouse has a nice little new mouse for her today.
Oh, he's like flexing.
All right, we're about to see. Hold on, I'm gonna try something else. Oh, I got the sound fixed. Wait, sound fixed. I just needed to reboot the thing. Oh crap! Submit.
Drawings in? Check. Let's get to the fun part. Now, take a wild guess at what the prompt for this title could be. Oh!
Drawful is good. I feel like trying to get people to guess a thing that you do off of ridiculous drawings.
Did we do a different version of this before?
You've done the dirty version.
There was another version that I was
Here are
playing.
your choices.
Uh-oh.
Which of these titles do you think really inspired this drawing?
Oh man, these are some good ones too.
Yeah.
Oh!
I feel like I'm gonna give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Like these are all good.
Oh,
Okay, who picked what?
oh what?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
that was it.
Yes. Ah,
The late
good.
90s were a confusing time.
What? Why did you didn't want others to?
Because usually if it comes up second, you're like, nah.
That's a good drawing. Frosted tips.
Yeah,
Mine
yeah,
is.
that's good.
I'm sorry. Is all I'm gonna say about mine. Apologize.
Up next, enter your titles now.
Is this yours? No. This isn't yours.
No,
You're purple.
Come on.
Hello.
And here are your choices.
Oh, whoa. Oh man.
Oh!
All right.
Oof.
It's tough.
Tap any button.
Hello.
And here are your picks.
Oh,
Good job, Mambo.
nice.
I know Becky. I know Becky's work.
That's like a very interesting title. It's like more people gets you way more.
Yeah.
Okay, the next drawing.
Oh man, what?
Oh! Hurry up, people. Just type something in. And here are your choices.
Ooh. Oh god. This is funny.
I'm not getting to pick one. My game is frozen.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Oh, come on, pick one. Oh, let's see what people picked.
Oof. Good one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you know.
Man. There it is. The on top of a circle.
See on top of a circle.
It's so clear. It's
so
quite
clear.
literally that.
It pointed at both of them. I don't even see how you didn't understand that.
It's so clear. Oh, I'm doing terrible this match.
Hold on a second.
Let's take a look at our next drawing.
Oh god. What?
It's fun. It's fun.
Oh my god. What the fish?
Are you getting a t-shirt of this one? No, this isn't the t-shirt one.
Hey, I'm serious. Time is up.
It looks a little bit like a Shel Silverstein drawing.
It gave me that vibe for sure.
Okay, here are your choices.
Kirk crying from Q fumes. Oh.
Wait, I gotta give people like points. Ah,
Dang.
it won't reconnect.
Phone's all slow, bro.
What did that say?
I don't know what it said.
Pick something.
Oh!
And here are your picks.
Stink Eye! Oh, ho, ho, she got us! Damn.
Oh.
Pink Eye. I
Pink
got
eye.
it. That makes sense. Poop on the eye. Oof. Stealth mouse. Oh, going around.
All right, let's do
You
another
in?
one.
Ryan's not in.
I'm connected to your internet, right? Why is there?
Oh, don't go on that one. That's probably why. Can you just get off of the internet? Does it work with them not being on the internet? Let's see here.
Okay.
Quick, type in anything.
Hello!
Oh. And here are your choices.
One of the funny parts of this game is when you realize you don't have an eraser. And
Yeah.
you've drawn and you've committed.
And they're like, oh
Lucky
man.
charm. Okay, who picked what?
Yo.
Bastard. Good job.
That was in the last like 10 seconds when I finally
Yeah,
got
you
it
did.
like all together. Ah, damn it. I thought that was it. That's the first one I've got wrong.
Thought it was.
Oh, I see. See, it's hard when you have like one color.
I know,
right? Like
that's
if you'd
the
had a
challenge.
red, like it
Well,
would've
that's
been
like your
easy.
pink eye one. I was like
Right.
blue on the eye.
Yeah,
I was surprised that
exactly.
everyone got that.
Because you get poo in your eye. That's how you get pink eye.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And now, this drawing.
I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say is I'm sorry. I'm doing terrible this game. Right back.
Oh, what?
Come on. typing time is almost up.
Oh, come on. I don't know what is with my phone.
And
Oh, I had a good one, too.
You did.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
And now it's working fine.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't like you.
It doesn't like me. It wants me to lose.
Just pick one.
Well, maybe it did that for others too.
And here are your picks.
Maybe the game crashed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn it!
A dancing cool cube.
Oh god, somebody got it. Yeah! I had to put the little panties on.
Totally.
That was the only thing that got it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But
Better than trying to, like, you know, draw it, I don't know.
it looked like sunglasses when I first
did,
did it.
yeah,
That's
I
why I was
feel
like,
like,
oh no.
Prompts are ready to go.
God, these are hard. I don't even know what that thing looks like.
How much longer we got? We're like halfway?
I don't know. Oh yeah.
Seconds left, y'all. Let's wrap it up. What you're doing is probably not going to be that great anyway. You're not freaking Picasso. Just wrap it up.
All
Oh.
right.
Committed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This one was hard.
I think it's because there's more people, so you can do crazier, funnier things.
I'm glad we do have the music, to be honest.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it?
Sometimes the circuit board, I have to just reboot
Your
it
drawings are in. Let's take a look.
or leave it on for months at a time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Put in your titles.
It's a good one.
Oh. Hurry up, people. Just type something in.
This is a Kathy drawing if I've ever seen one. Nice.
Here are your choices.
Where cocaine goes.
All right.
Pick anything.
Ah, no pun intended, right? It's a nose.
And
Thanks for
here are
explaining
your
that one.
picks.
Oh, finally somebody guessed one of
Finally.
mine. Thank you, Becky, for saving me right there.
Yes. I was like, everyone's gonna put a nose thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What place am I in?
We know my.
Oh, yes. Number 1.
Oof.
Let's take a look at our next drawing.
All right, after this round is up, you gotta tell me what you think this is. Did I do bad? This is mine. I'm just gonna even let you know.
Hey, I'm serious. Time is up. Oh,
I'm gonna say I did not know what this was.
and here.
Oh, oh, we got some crickets and grasshoppers in there. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Smorgasbord and chicken jamboree.
Oh,
Chicken jamboree. Might be my favorite. I didn't choose chicken jamboree, but
Oh my god.
oh, come on, pick one.
Chicken jamboree is top.
it's pretty fun.
And here are your picks.
Yeah, I shouldn't have. Hey, I spelled grasshopper wrong in mine, so that probably. It's a coffee creamer pack.
Yeah.
Curious grasshopper. Like, what is he jumping towards?
I don't know. I was like, he has to be curious about something. And I was like, what should that thing be? And I just started drawing
Like a
random.
cup.
I was like, throw a cup in there.
Dang it! That was a bad one. I lost my
Who's in first?
lead.
Enter your titles now.
Stealth, I think.
Nice. Okay, let's see here. What is it? Like how you hide your phone from me. Like I'm gonna
You're
copy
cheating.
you. I don't even. I can barely.
Well, because
even,
the only other way I could do it is here,
I don't even see what you're doing.
or here, and I gotta do it up here.
Come on, typing time is almost up.
An ad covered the thing. Oh shoot. Oh, like
Oh,
a.
did it?
Okay, here are your choices.
Did you do it? What?
No, I didn't get to enter mine.
Why not?
I just ran out of time. Apparently.
Oh my god. Gotta be
Oh.
on. You gotta be on top of it.
know. There's one
Oh,
here
left an
that is
answer.
close to the
Come
one that I
on.
entered though, so I just voted for that one.
Oh shoot! Can I take back?
No.
Oh my god.
And here are your
Ponzi scheme. Like I feel like I almost voted for that one. Adam.
Nice.
Close. That's the one that I voted for, and that was
Yeah.
close to mine.
I was gonna say.
Oh, good job, Becky.
Becky with the trickster.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Lazy astronaut.
Ponzi scheme? Like, I don't even know what a Ponzi scheme is really enough to. Lazy astronauts. Dang it. I almost wrote that. I almost did that one. I thought they would have like tubes coming out of their head or something if they were astronauts.
We got some.
Oh, I'm down 200 points. That's it.
All right, it comes down to this.
picks. Type in a title now.
It looks like Ryan did this one.
Yep. This one, no one would be able to get this. This feels like one of those impossible.
Quick, Type in anything.
Did we lose everybody?
So got 8.
Like
People couldn't figure out what it was.
Here are your choices.
Ghost.
I do keep having to reconnect, so that's not great.
I blame Xbox. It's always fun to get a little Jackbox in there.
Yeah, totally.
Get everyone
Choose
excited.
something.
Yeah. We don't even put it in the Twitch game that we're playing. This is
Okay.
for just
Go pick
insiders that are here watching too, or watching our just talking. That was good. That was good. Nice. All right. Somebody guessed it.
I got it.
appreciate that. It's like, how do you draw a headache?
Climbing myself up the ranks.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Trying to be
Right.
still is at the top.
Yeah, well,
Did you win?
I
Is
zoomed
that it?
back in. Oh, one
Oh
more.
no. Oh
Type in
god.
a convincing title now. Oh,
God, I love mine.
Is that
that
one's
on-
yours every time?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
hey,
But your no
Siri,
music symbol
time is
makes no
up.
sense now.
Yeah. Just in case, you know,
Just in case.
didn't come back on.
He Higgly. Oh, it's people must have
And
bailed
here
out,
are your choices.
or like they couldn't get back in.
Could be. But they just said nuts to this.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Ooh, there's some good ones in here.
Yeah, I don't know if what I picked was right now that I look at it.
pick an answer.
That's some
Let's
South
see
Park.
what people pick.
It does
Vibes,
a
like
little like
Canadian.
Canadian, yeah, exactly. Ah, good one. You know. Suckers.
Oh, it was a good. I mean, bastard. I don't want to contribute to your.
Nutcracker's epic
it's
coffee.
so easy to see where when you see the thing, you just took it right. I think.
Oh,
Yes.
Damn, y'all.
All right, that was good.
Well, I'm glad that we got our
Yeah.
our things back. That was good as far as the audio is concerned. Always fun for a Jackbox. You know, I want to get to some new Jackbox games. I heard there were some other ones that came out
Have you seen
recently.
have you seen the one that just has like hundreds of responses and you just have to type in like rapid fire as many as you possibly can and then it just starts showing you where they rank in
You know
the
what we're gonna have to do
responses?
is just a Jackbox day.
That'd be fun.
I think we'll have a Jackbox all nighter, one
Nice.
of these hangouts or something in the future.
Totally.
Maybe not even during this. That would
yeah,
be a good
yeah,
time
maybe
to do
maybe
it.
like an in-between day. That'd be cool.
All right, so thanks for jumping in for Jackbox. We are
Yeah.
going to transition into more of the DIY part of the night,
Yeah.
and so
Talk about our game.
So let me start it out because one of the things that
Here,
Ryan.
you started out on.
Oh, you
these
got to be
questions.
here for this.
Oh, I have
This
to
is
be
a
here?
this is a Ryan.
this is
Go
important.
and do your thing. And while Ryan does his thing, we're gonna do a little preview of some music that we've recently made on Double Dropdown. If you're not familiar with it, so you should check us out on Double Dropdown on our music section. We've been doing some AI music lately, and one of the latest songs has the Spice Girls. It's called Excellent Vibes.
Kick it off, cells in line. Pivot table, flex, and the formula shine. You first see no time to stall. Oh, it's simple, sweet, and
I should probably put it where you could see the.
fail complete. Drop that song, no. Now watch it grow. Workbooks flowing, let's go, go, go. Excellent vibes, we're counting it right. Charts in the sky, colors so bright. Day is alive, feel the connection. Formulas clicking, we make decisions. Oh, 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 oh. Coalesce, watch it align. In these sheets, baby, we shine.
Oh yeah.
Wild with the macros, bold with the flair. Conditional formats, color everywhere. Filter it down, slice that pie. Queries loading, numbers flying. Again, lines, minimal mess. Feel look up chic, formulas finesse. From data chaos, I bring the grace. In every chart, you see my face. PowerPoint dreams, the Excel queen. Data revolution in every scene. Analyze, strategize, feel that spark. Where the queens of the numbers are. It's all in vibes, we're counting it right.
Yeah.
Shots in the sky, colors so bright. Data's alive, feel the connection. Formulas clicking.
We're listening to the bop, Ryan.
This is the Spice Girls, right?
Yeah.
Coalesce is a terrible word to have in a pop song. Coalesce.
It's all about Excel, dude.
Excellent vibes is pretty good.
If you haven't heard it, like
I
it's
haven't.
there's so much. They have all the different voices, and
Wow.
it took a long time to make this one.
Yeah?
Well, like to get the. It's good. So we make our own music.
It's fun. Man.
Wait, you'll have to listen later, and there's a part in it. Wait, I gotta stop this before it keeps going. There's a piece of it where you start hearing the like, here's the sporty one, and here's the more like posh
nice,
one. It
yeah,
was like,
right.
and you have to prompt it right to get the voices to
get all
pop
five of
out.
them
So,
in there.
all right, well, thanks for listening to that. We're gonna jump into this part of the show. We're gonna talk a little bit about what we've been doing. So we've been making the video game,
Yep.
which has been awesome. Do a diss track.
That's a good one.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one.
Like we got to do it about something like here on the show. Like we need a rival. Who's our rival?
That'd be great.
What channel is our rival that we can build AI diss tracks against?
Man, let's not do it with anybody.
We are. Adam is always taking requests. If you you put it in the notes here. You can go to the Discord.
Here's the deal, and I gotta say, like, I got a secret sauce how I make the songs.
Yeah, that he will not share, even with one of his closest friends.
One of the other things too is that most of the lyrics I actually do write, and then I use some Chat GPT to clean up because I can't make a song without being inspired. Sure. I have to have like the mode to get there, because if you just go there and you're like, you want to make a song, I'm like, I don't have the vibe to do it. But then something hits me and I was like, I got the lyrics, and I go and like I start like beating them out, and I'm like, you're gonna do the excellent things, bum, 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 and then like boom, pops out.
So it can't just be off of anything. So if you just get something from the chat, you can't. You
so
have to be inspired in some way.
What
by
I'll do is so the Spice Girls was one of the first ones probably before anything else was made on the channel, and so I just had to put it in the bank to say, all right, sometime when it hits, I'm gonna make it. That was a request. So I got a diss track that's got to come out now, and I got to figure out how that's gonna rap does not work really well on there.
I was gonna say I haven't heard you do any rap, and like I feel like you're a fan of rap, so I'm surprised I haven't. I just assumed it was not very good.
It's just it does not end up sounding great because it doesn't rap it right. It almost like sings it. Like a rapper has like a poetic way of kind of getting
it's
it
like
out.
spoken word, right?
Yeah,
and
it is.
Yeah. I wonder, could you get it to do like one of those old school like 80s or 90s rap where it was kind of like, you know how it was like very similar? It was like diggable planets, like where every Pete was the same thing. That's kind of how it was back in the day. I bet it would have an easier time.
I think you could totally make that work. Yeah. So, all right. I am excited, Ryan, for a couple reasons. And if you've been following along with the show, Ryan and I, it's 16 years ago now that we wanted to make a video game. Right. All right. You were coming along for a ride of our lives, right? This is like Ryan and I's thoughts for quite a bit of time. So you know about Skull Bobs. If you watch any part of the stream or you talk to me, I shamelessly plug the sweet Game Boy game and stream that we do all the time. And so we've been making a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
Ryan and I, when we first started, were like, can we even do this thing? Like, is it a thing we can do? And I think Game Boy was our entryway of just saying, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's see, because it's simple. Yeah. We can limit ourselves and we can figure it out.
Adam has a history with Game Boy being his like first console, and we thought that was cool. And there's a platform
we found that
can help build one.
And so we've spent the last year, like we said earlier, at figuring out how to build a Game Boy game. What was really awesome about the experience, we did a bunch of research too, is they were saying like, don't make something big right away when you're gonna make a Game Boy game and doing all this other stuff. And so we're like, all right, we're not gonna build something gargantuan.
Sure.
And what I ended up doing was learning game development process. I think Ryan as well, in terms of the different,
or just
graphics,
like what goes into it. Yeah. Like
how do you approach it?
Yeah.
And so Game Boy Studio, GB Studio is what we've been using. It has a GUI interface, but you can get in a little deeper. You can do C code. You can do all these other things to make it work. And so I ended up using the GUI. Then I kind of ended up having to do some coding. And I was like, all right, I'm getting this. And so what the GUI taught me was really kind of like a big foundation of what it was like in a very small scale. And it limited me to say, like, here's the big arc of what I could create. So then we had been saying, all right, are we in the right platform? Are we doing what we want to do? Like, are we nailing this? Are we just making a Game Boy game and then we're washing our hands of it? We said we did Skull Bobs and we're good to go.
Right.
So then the conversation is, and I want to hear it from where you thought it was, Ryan, because I think it'd be good to kind of like. So we talked about a couple systems, and the last we talked, it was a kind of a neck and neck or a discussion between two. And what were those two?
Game Maker, right? Or Game Maker 2, right?
Is Game Maker 2, Game Maker Studio?
Game Maker Studio, right? Whatever the latest version of that is, which is a little more like 2D platformer, sort of a little maybe simpler, I guess, but it also costs money. It's a software that you do and things like that. The other one, Godot, spelled Godot, which is open source maker, and it can be either 2D or 3D. And it doesn't cost any money, but perhaps like less big or like less maybe supported, I guess, because it's sort of open source. That's usually one of like the open source things. There's not a giant company behind it creating a bunch of bespoke like videos and things like that for it. So that's what I know, at least from my side.
So no, that's it. I'm glad I just wanted to kind of get your lens on it. So I went down the rabbit hole this last couple weeks of being like, I really just, if I'm going to go one direction, I got to start playing with something. Like, sure. I got to. Like, I was on the scroll. I was addicted to the scroll. I had to redo my apps on my phone, so I hid some stuff so I wouldn't get to it.
Okay.
And so here's my strat, just so you can kind of like, if I get in a stuck like, I'm gonna be scrolling YouTube or something, like, such just brain rot, and I was like, go get out of this. And then an hour later, I'm like, you're still there, and so I finally I started just looking at other gamers. Like things, and so finally my stream started getting like, here's games, and I started looking up like demos and then ways and like tutorials. I was like, all right, it's not the trashy stuff would come in. I'm like, nope, totally. I'm not gonna watch that, and go and watch. So finally I got on this beat of watching things, and then I started building up some confidence over like probably about 2 or 3 weeks of like, man, we could get this, we could try this. I just got to learn something. Yeah. And then I started reading some forums and I said, all right, here's the deal. And I even ChatGPT'd it. I said, what's the difference? Like, help me pick Game Maker or this. And of course it was so like in the middle, like this one will do this. And if it's really good for this and this and this and this. And so I got down to it. And I ended up on a Reddit post. I don't follow Reddit, but I do read the posts when I get to it. And somebody made a really good point. They're like, all right, if the decision is between these two, number one, Game Maker Studios changed hands. They're backed by people that want to make money.
Sure.
And so you have these tiers, you're going to make money. Who knows what's going to happen to it in the next 5 years? I mean, it's supported. It's 2D. You can do a really great job. And they said, Godot, it's free. Go try the damn thing. Mm-hmm. It's free. Go for it. Why would you not do that? Then you can make a decision if that's where you want to go. And I was like, that makes absolute sense. And then everyone was like, it's open source, support open source. It's a really important kind of thing to do. It will do 2D. There's all these other opportunities for it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a go. And so I didn't make the decision. I didn't go right then and start doing it. I was like, I'm probably going to go Godot. It was still a probably. Mm-hmm. I walked into school. I was thinking about it, and then I looked up at one of the digital signs, and one of the students was like, "Sweet Godot project that I'm doing," and because he has a little digital sign, and he had a 3D game that he had designed, and he had like a little like video of it.
Nice.
And I was like, if there was ever a sign to go to Godot, and I saw him, and I was like, "What do you like Godot?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've tried a couple platforms, but Godot is really good, and you should try it." So what I ended up doing is I went and bought a course in how to do Godot, and I started learning it. I'm about like out of 83 lessons, I think I'm in lesson 30 at this point. And you get to build 3 games in the course of this. And Ryan he's going to go through this course.
All right.
You don't necessarily have to do some of the coding parts of it. Coding is a part of this, and that's the hard part of it. So what I figured is like, let me just show you the platform, if you're cool with that, for a minute.
Totally.
And then we'll come back in here and we'll do some
that
some
sounds
other
great.
things.
That's because I want to see it if that's what we're picking.
Yeah, I think so. So we're gonna go over in the other room again.
We need our transition music.
Ryan busted out the whiskeys.
Well, you know.
All right. So
some days just require extra whiskeys.
Yeah, I can understand. All right, so we're not going to go into full like mode. Like I can show you every detail of what Godot is, but I wanted to give you some context. And so, if you're out in the chat, this might be something that's kind of interesting for you. If you're into development and games and things like that. Like, what does it take to get into a game? So first thing I'm going to show you is I downloaded Godot, and it just puts this little exe file. Like, it doesn't put it in your apps or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to jump into Godot, and we're just going to run it right off the bat. So one of the things about it is that it basically creates these folders that have a whole bunch of files in it. So I'm going to give you the tour of it, and then you're going to go through it through the demo and kind of see where this goes. But this might give you a little lens of like why it might be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm making a game called Speedy Saucer at the moment. Okay. It's part of the
course,
stuff that we're working on. So when it loads, at first you're just like, oh my God. Oh, wonderful. My God. But once you start getting through the interface, and the guy that does this lessons really does a great job of it. But what they go through is I'm just going to go through the screen very high level. Is that on this left-hand side, there's these scenes. And in a scene, you're essentially putting what are called nodes. And a node will have these different layers to it. And so why I got really excited about Godot is within probably about 3 hours of the training, I could see how we could absolutely create every aspect of what we've already created in the Game Boy game.
Sure.
We could port our Game Boy game. We'd have to build it from scratch up and then add cool parts to it. I think that's how we're going to start our demo. We're going to do a demo of Skull Bobs in this, is my thought. So just to give you an example, so if I were to come into this game, you create these nodes. So I'm going to go into at the very top. You're going to be in script mode a lot, but there's this 2D mode. So what's kind of cool is that you have this platform and you can kind of learn about what this is. And there's this viewport around this little guy in here, this little alien saucer. So kind of think about it as a top down for this particular game. Yeah. This game is not fully functional yet.
Sure.
But what you're able to essentially do is create a scene. So I created a scene, and the scene is called level 1. And so it creates this TSCN file that you can do level 1. And then you have basically a player scene. So it's a completely different scene, but you give it some different parameters and you call it the player. So imagine you create these two different elements and you're like, here's everything that's the player, and then here's everything that's the level.
Yeah.
And what's a little different is if you go to the level, I basically took this player scene that we created, and it has like a sprite, has a collision shape, has some other things that I have associated with it, is that I put it inside of the level. And so like if I click on this thing, you don't see any of these little drop downs of like the sprite 2D or this collision shape or any of that stuff on there, because it exists outside of the level.
It reminds me of like After Effects in that sense.
It's like
you're like nesting. You're like nesting those pieces into other pieces.
And so then all the code and all the neat little things that I put on this player kind of live on top of it inside of there. And then there's a compilation of ways that you kind of assemble these pieces. So think about this is a bunch of scenes, and each of the scenes have these nodes that are in them. And a node is basically like the player or the level, and then a node has all these little like tree things that happen in it.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not going to get too crazy in it, but if I go into the player, and you see in the player right here, there's this little piece of paper, and you click on it, it shows you your code.
Okay.
Code is super duper, like you have to have tabs and spaces, and it's like I absolutely love it because it's organization to a T.
Okay.
But the reason I'm showing you all this, and the reason I want you to go through this thing, is that it's going to clear up for you pretty quick, and you're going to, like, I guarantee you get through the first lesson and you'll be able to see and understand every little thing that's on the screen right now. So it's like, here's where you can compile your scene in your player. This little middle section is going to show you your scene or your code. And then off to the right-hand side, this is going to be like context menu for each of the things that you create in the system.
Right. Okay.
And then down here is more of your file structure that you build things in the lower left. And then a little debugger and log kind of thing in the inside of there.
Okay.
So for just a simple demo of what this is that we created a level, which we essentially just put in a background, and there's some ways that you would put in a background. This is this purple background back there. Mm-hmm. And you could kind of see it like down here that it's even bigger than the actual play space right now.
Yeah.
There's this little thing right there. And so created the background. That's all it is. It's literally just like a GIF on the background or just a PNG with a tiling effect. And then we went ahead and went to the player, created another tile or thing, and notice we're not like limited to little tiny like 8 pixel by 8 pixel tiles. So I'm like, Ryan's gonna go crazy.
You're like way better. It's just way easier to make that stuff.
100%.
Right?
No, there's some other things that we'll want to consider. We're gonna have to like lock in our sizing so that when we do this, there's reasons why you don't want to like bring it in and then size up a pixel art. Because if you do that, then it makes the pixels just bigger and it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So we want to keep that standard.
Yep.
So in any case, I went in here, I did that, and then I clicked over onto this little sheet, and there's a function that says, hey, extend this thing, and we're going to put this physics process, and this is what I'm going to do all this work. So you won't have to worry about this as much. But then I'm able to create a variable for the force that we put on it, and I basically create this if function. Mm-hmm. So if you push this button, it goes this way, this way, this way. And then up over here, I could play the game from this button, or I can play the scene from this button. So what's cool is, you know how in our game now, where if you're like, oh, I want to play this scene way over here, that's like 5 levels deep in the Game Boy game. We have to move this little thing to that scene to like launch it there. Yeah. This one, you can just play the scene.
Okay.
Or you can watch.
And how much of
game.
this code is like, are you writing this code just like from scratch?
Yeah.
Man, so it doesn't like provide any of that for you. It's not even like here's a basic template of what would this player might do.
The thing that I knew you might ask that. So what was interesting is because we did GB Studio and because I kept putting the code in, I was using the GUI to put code into places. Mm-hmm. It prompted me to know like this is the kind of code that I should be putting if I was to write it. Like it essentially taught me how to write this code by doing the Game Boy Studio game. Now, really, the way you got to kind of back your way out of it and think about it is there's basic kind of code. There's math operators, there's variables that store data, and then there's like if else and if else kind of statements. So it's basically like a compilation of those things, and it seems a lot easier than it actually is. And maybe from my lens, it seems easier because of my bias of doing this for a while. Now, of course, there's things like is action pressed or this physics thing. I think I can show you this. Let's see here. There's a way to do this, and I'm not. There you go. So I'll explain what I just did. Actually, so these little functions here. See where it says an underscore before it, and then an underscore right here. These are special built-in functions, and I can go read documentation on it. But if I were to say, okay, I know I need to do a physics process, and a physics process might be something around like moving an object mm-hmm. around. If I hit Control on the keyboard and I click on this particular process, it gives me all the thing. It's like, hey, you don't put anything before it. Really, there's nothing that you can do as like an attribute or perimeter before it that can. So void means like can't do something, and some of these you can put some things before it. It runs this code, and here's basically what it can do, and it gives you some details about what that exact piece of code does.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a simple layer of this, and you keep adding to it. So we're just gonna have to like chip away at some of this work. Mm. But if I go and I run the thing right now, and I can say like this is fairly simple, is that I got this little guy that runs around. Now he goes off that board, and
sure,
you can get lost pretty well. And so first of all, he gets like lost off the screen or whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna hit escape. I'm gonna come back to it, and I'm gonna go back to the 2D. So,
but it also felt like it had some like physics behind it, right? It wasn't just like the moment you let go, it wasn't just stopping in the moment.
So there's ways that you can tune that, like how much force goes beyond it. Like
was that the force?
The force. And there's different ways that you can start to build on top of this. And so if I go to this player, and I'm probably not going to remember some of what I need to put on this right now. I think it's there's ways that you can like drop a camera on top of it. Cause see how he like was in the box and then you ran off the box and you were gone. Let's try this. I'm just going to try right here. So if I go to player and hit plus, and then I say, this is kind of where it's like a camera 2D. So I'm going to throw that on there, and I'll just double click it. Let's see what that puts on there. I'm actually not sure if this is going to work. I'm going to try it. So see, it's following.
Oh yeah, okay.
The character now.
Yeah.
So that and so I'm way off. Okay, so what I did was essentially put a camera on it, so now it will like kind of track. So if I were to take this box, and I'm gonna just make it a lot bigger, just so you can get kind of an idea for it, and then I hit play. So you're in this little box right now, and then you can see there's the bigger box, but now it should just track where I'm going.
Yeah.
On this thing.
Nice.
Now, I'm dead center, right? Okay, I want to show you something cool. So I'm dead center in that case. I'm going to go back to the player. And so we created this camera. So maybe we wanted the camera to be like a little bit higher, or like it's not dead center.
Yeah.
Or you could zoom it into the character a little bit and say like, I actually want you to be, and let me just do this. I'll do 2. And so let's go and play it just to give you an example of what happened. So you're like the camera zoomed in, and so you're at the bottom now, and you can create all these, and like look how quick and easy that was.
Yeah, definitely.
Now this one was really cool. Is that you have a couple different ways that you could do that. There was a drag. This is where you can say a horizontal or this kind of drag. Well, I'll show you what it does. So you put drag on there. So you can kind of like move around like in a little space.
Oh, and then it sort of pushes the frame around you.
And then it goes a little bit. So it's like you have a little bit of breathing room before you do that.
Yeah.
So there's all these different ways that we can create some, and then there was positional smoothing and limiters and all these other fun little like
Nice.
So we don't have to worry about that right hand side unless we're like tweaking something and like tying it in.
Yeah.
So
Because I imagine at some point you would get that nailed in of like how you want the camera to move and how you want to do this, and then you'd be like, okay, that's just it across everything.
100%. And so this is like a collision box. There's a little thing that it hits on, and then we got a little camera that's in there. And so that's in a nutshell. And so just kind of giving you like an orientation to what it might look like. I'm really excited. I feel as though this is going to be, you know, something that could be pretty awesome. So where you're going to come in is we're going to call it textures or whatever we want to call them. You can create these things. So if I were to pull in like dark purple out on here, it's just a PNG. And then there's some things that I can do over here to create the way that it textures across or tiles across and then
yeah,
we
like
can create
how
levels.
do we like how much of that do we have to worry about of things, you know, sizes and all the things that we cared about before?
I mean, we're going to have to, there's optimization of a game that we're going to have to definitely care about.
Yeah.
So we don't want to just be like, here's a 20 megabytes file of some little tiny bottle that you're going to put down here. But we're going to try to say, all right, what's our pixel dimensions we want to work at? What's the level we want to create with this? And then I think we just take what we already have from Skull Bob's. You and I go into this and try to recreate a version of it, maybe just the bar. Okay. See what that looks like. See how your workflow would be of putting things into the game. So what I would imagine you would do is you would come over to this side of, and I'd be like, all right, go to the player TSN or TSCN, and you would be able to open that scene, and you can open it here. And so like, let's say I hit save. I'm pretty sure you're just able to double click it is how that works. So you come over here, you open up the player scene, and we know that is a sprite. And so let's say that we wanted the sprite to be not this purple or whatever. You just drag that over here, and that now became the sprite.
Okay.
So you're putting it over in this menu, and then we would say, here's the sizings of that. And you're going to probably just be working in these different scenes and drawing things. And so when you watch through the tutorial, there's one of like how to build a scene. And so you're going to just be layering things on there and making the scene up, and then I'll come in the side and like put all the things where it should have hits and collisions, and then start doing the code.
Yeah, and so how do you because I had heard that the Godot is easier for like uploading to Git, you know, or whatever, and then sharing and being like, okay, I'm downloading and I'm working on it for a while, or checking out different versions and things like that. Is that something you think that we would use?
That was what I was going to say, is that I think there's a couple ways we could do that, and I'm not sure exactly what the best workflow is yet. I think that we're going to have to kind of organically figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe a different show I'll talk about it, but I've been putting something about NASs. Have you heard of NAS? NAS, Network Attached Storage. You talked about this for a while, and I'm going to just give you a 20-second like pitch on it. You have always said it's like, we're all going to have our own little box in our houses that do these things.
Exactly.
They absolutely exist, and that's what it is. So like, if you want to take your Google Drive and make your own version of it that lives in your house and that you can have it, you absolutely can do that. That's what a NAS is. And what it is you put a bunch of hard drives in. It's your backup storage for your house, but you can network attach it, and you can get it on your phone. You can get it from anywhere in the world,
and people
use it.
The time where I hear people using it is like a Plex server, right? And they just like, they put a Plex server in their house and they upload all of these, files to it, and then they're just like, all right, now my TV just has a Netflix of every movie that I own or pirate.
And that's absolutely what it is. You have to do some like tweaking, and it does cost like as much as a pretty decent computer to build that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking of building that anyway because I needed to back up a bunch of my crap. What if that was where we could store some of this, and you could kind of pull things from that? I'm cool with GitLab, as that's what they use on here. So I think if I were to close out of this, when it first opens up, it does say some stuff around here where it had Git. Maybe it's I don't know where it's at.
You're in offline mode.
Offline update checks disabled. Yeah, there's something where you can like chuck it up and you can commit that to the cloud or into that. Then you'll pull it down.
Right.
We just have to make sure we're not working on it at the same time. Then you commit your stuff back in, and we're
because I feel like we would have to do something like that, right? Because. Or it would just be me the same way it is now. Me just sort of giving you assets and being like, okay, figure these out, Adam. And it would be
that's
way
why
better
I'm forcing you to watch the stuff so you know how to do your part. And
can I use your $80 or whatever you paid for your little course?
It's made for Adam Ryan at Double Dropdown.
Oh,
so
nice.
it's all above board.
Double Dropdown.
So it's the name of the person in there is called Adam Ryan. So it's 100%
Nice.
for both of us. The only thing is that it shows all the check boxes of everything I did. So I could uncheck all the other ones and just make sure my check is a little further down and you can run through it. But it's quick and easy. You get Godot on your machine, you download it, you run through some of those things. One of the things is I highly suggest you just do what they say, even if it's code. He makes it super dead simple to understand. Like you might even be like, oh, I get what's happening in the code after watching this, because they take it from like an absolute beginner.
Sure.
And I've done enough in code to know like probably everything through the first 25 episodes. I was like, yeah, this all makes sense. But what you're learning is the Godot kind of way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's based off of what is it? Python.
Right, I did hear that.
And so it's an augmented version of that. And so they take out some of the brackets and some of the things, and it's pretty damn straightforward as you start getting into it. So then when you get in there, one of the things that I love about it is, let's say that we made the character to where he had a speed. And so we have Roby and he's running. And typically in the game now, you were like, man, he doesn't run fast enough. Like you'd have to go in and have to know where in the code or where in the like little actions to tweak it.
Increase the numbers.
There's a way for me to extend the code so that you remember that side menu that we saw. So let's say I write the code and I say his speed is 1,000 for whatever reason that is. I can basically make it to where that then there's a little toggle that pops out on that menu out there from the code. You put like at extend this. It's like a quick line of code, and then it puts it in the menu. And then so you would never have to look at the code. And you're like, oh, yeah, Roby run speed. Sweet. Let's push that up to this level or down to this level.
Nice.
So there's like little tricks that I'll be focused on that. I need you to focus more on the graphical elements on this, because I think there's a lot of layering and cool things you can do with it.
And like I know part of this is like, you could take a final game and upload it to, Steam or do it. How is that kind of stuff? And does that dictate resolution or like what we're working on? Does that change any of those things?
Not particularly. I mean, we can set all of those things. So we're going to have a really, I think, kind of the same startup of saying like, okay, what do you want to do? Square game or a 1920 by 1080 kind of game, or what does that look like? I'll just give you a quick peek just so you could see what you can kind of expect. So this is I feel like I'm giving some promo for gamedev.tv.
Now you are.
There we go. So the course is oh man, it doesn't say where his name is, but it's probably back over here. Can I not go back? Oh, I'm already on the top of it. So it starts to show you like, here's all these different things that you can go through and all the different games and things that you can make. They have little like chats underneath there that allow you to ask questions if there's something that you didn't know.
Nice.
And then I'm going to quickly go to the library here and just show you kind of, there's a lot of things. So it's called the Complete Godot 2D Code Your Own 2D Games in Godot. So 11 hours. time. Not a crazy. So Con Alper, thank you so much. He convinced me from YouTube to get into this because I watched one of his things and it was really great.
That's awesome.
So in any case, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Is if you go through this, you're going to be able to hang out and check out the game.
So so you're super convinced. This is the way to go over Game Maker.
I would say I'm 95% sure this is going to be where we're going to go, because I started looking at Game Maker, and the thing is that you would still need to get into the code with Game Maker. It almost got more confusing because I did try Game Maker, and what was happening is it had this cool way where you would pull icons and things into it, and then it started building the code. And then I watched a couple of tutorials, and everyone's like, it's like it kind of does it, but you got to go in the code. You got to get in there to make it. And so they kept switching to the code mode, and they're like, eventually you're just going to do it in code mode anyway.
Right.
And I was like, all right, if we're going to just do that anyway, like why are we going to even try to do that?
Makes sense.
So like I said, there's the fact that I was able to get it to where it was, there's actually a lesson that's a lot further along than the one I just demoed there, where it took me, like, I'm not even a third of the way done through the course yet, and I already had a fully playable game, and I was able to code it without watching anything. I was like, here's what I need to pull in, here's what I need to do, and then as we play with it, it's going to be just like GB Studio, where like this makes so much more sense.
Well, and it feels a little more future-proof, right? To like having something open source, and I mean, I hear people talking about Godot a lot, so it feels like something where it's not like this dying open source platform. It feels like it's pretty vibrant.
It's fairly well supported. There's actually a lot of people contributing. I know there's likely plugins and other things we can use with it. So I'm super stoked. Behind the scenes, this is probably the only time that we'll really talk about it too deeply on the show for now. We're going to get back into Skullbobs and the work that we're doing on that. But behind the scenes, I'm going to be learning this. It's been nice. I pull out my phone. Godot, by the way,
mobile
works
friendly
on your freaking phone. I was like,
Nice.
Are you freaking serious?
Nice.
I downloaded the app thinking like, all right, what kind of version? And it just was like, you do have to do it landscape, but boom. It was like the full app, just like this. I was like, It's running on my phone. But when we create games here too, we can create mobile games, we can create computer games, you can create other ones that are a little bit more legacy on there. So I don't know, what's your thoughts? Any initial reaction to this?
I mean, the thing is always like, I'm absolutely gonna leave it up to you, right? Because you're the one, you're the one who's gonna work in it the most, right? You're the one who has to be like comfortable in the thing. I mean, if it was me, I would probably pick the simpler of the two and just sort of live with the consequences of doing some of that, right? But like, it's more about like how comfortable you feel, how excited you are about it too, like is a big part of it, and I do think it's good that we're not switching over to it. Like, we don't have to make the decision this moment,
right.
Like, you can go through this entire freaking course and come out the other end and then have you might have a different opinion or something, or you could build, you're building 3 mini games, like build those and see what you think. And so in that case, I feel like what you should do, and like, yes, I will go through the course too. Like, think about it in the sense of, like you've been hearing about the type of game that we want to build and what, and so I'm sort of leaving it up to you to be like, hey, here's the best platform for that. And if that's Godot, then I'm definitely down for that.
I'm really stoked to like have you check it out. I wanted to almost give you a demo. I wonder if they have it of the packet. Okay. So we're going to just watch this together as a final kind of like thing, and you tell me what your thoughts are. So after watching this video, you will have been able to create all these games that they talk about.
Okay.
Oh wait, you can't hear it. I forgot about that. Hold on a second. There's a way I could fix that.
It is muted.
Is it? But you know what? I need to turn something on. Yeah, it's fine. I figured people could see this today. They get to see the reality of behind the scenes.
ease of use, and flexibility. In this course, we'll be
Not
using
how I
Godot
pictured his
version
voice.
4 and Godot's powerful scripting language,
He's not the guy that teaches
GDScript,
us.
to teach you the fundamentals of programming, and along the way, make a bunch of fun games that you can customize and to turn into your own. Khan will be your primary
You make
instructor
this
for
game.
the course. Khan, what are we
Nice.
covering?
We'll make 3 different games.
That's the guy.
The first one is a simple collision avoidance game where we learn all about Godot's fundamentals. These are things like scenes, nodes, instancing, scripting, and more. We'll cover variables, functions, if statements, and other fundamental programming concepts here. In the next project, we're gonna make a space shooter game. Here we'll learn all about physics, movement logic, creating user interfaces, particle effects, and more. We'll cover
Nice.
things like creating an enemy spawner, shooting projectiles, keeping track of the player's score and lives here. In the final project of the course, we're gonna make a 2D platformer game.
Nice.
This section is packed with information. We're gonna learn things like animations, using the tile map node, scene management, to name just a few.
Whether you're an absolute beginner to game
seems
development
great.
or you've spent
That's what I
some
thought.
time
I was
dabbling
like-
in Godot already,
At
this
least-
course
at least
will have
for,
some great
you know,
learning for you. And as with all Game Dev TV
a way
courses,
to,
you'll have free access to our world-class
check it
support
out,
forums
right?
and
Oh,
dedicated
yeah.
Feels like that's a
teaching
perfect way,
assistants to
especially when
ensure
it's
you never
free.
get stuck. I hope you join us in the course, and I look forward to seeing the cool games you create using the Godot game engine.
Who is that guy then?
So there's like he's part of the team
Okay.
that like talks about the thing. So here's the reason why I picked that. Number one, it brought us up to speed on how the Godot worked. That was what I really wanted.
Yeah.
But the fact that it shows you how to make a platformer at the end like
Right.
that, I was just like
Sure.
convinced. Because all of the stuff in all of those 3 things, the movement, the scores, and then in like
The UI
title,
and
UI
stuff, right?
And then a game. That is all we just did in
Right.
Scope.
Yeah. Over the last year in GB Studio.
And so as I started exploring it, I was like, "Yep, this is how I make this scene. Oh, yep, this is how I make that." I basically could map it out in my head how we could really recreate that. But the cool part was
Okay. Yep.
oh,
no.
go ahead.
No. Well, if I just have a question about it. But
no,
like,
the only cool part why I'm most excited is the Game Boy game has been constrained
Sure.
to that box.
right.
So I can't walk outside of it. And then after I started playing, I was like, oh my God, we could get outside of the box. It's going to allow us to do the things outside of the box. And
Nice.
and then I was like, this helps kind of feed some of the stuff you'd been asking about.
Right.
And saying like, can't you like layer shit? And can't you like make things bigger? And can't I just like give you this sweet graphic and you throw it in there? Yes, I can.
Yeah. Now it would actually be possible. The question I had is like, I know it. One part of GB Studio that is nice, I feel like, is the blown out view of like, here's the entire levels and how they kind of connect together and do things. Is there stuff like that in this?
Not that I know of.
So it's all just like, you got to know where the scenes are and have them labeled in the right way and know that one connect 00002 tavern connects to 00008 tavern.
Yep.
Okay. I feel like that's more intense to sort of think about it, especially as it starts to get complicated, but people must do it, right?
Well, this is where my naming conventions came in last time when you were like giving me a little crap about it, where you're like, does it actually have to have this name in this thing? And I'm like, if you do that, it just makes it easier down line. So for instance, all our scenes, it's like S1-01 means like that's our first scene. S1-02 is, stage 1, scene 1. Stage 1, scene 2. We can create our own little code of how all the levels, and they'll just like stack in that list off to the left. You have folder structures and
Right.
the same ways that you would be able to say, here's all our scenes, here's all our like maps. You can like say the player folder is here, which we didn't get to do on the other one.
Yeah.
The other one, you just had like, here's like gazillion different assets all
Right.
in one folder at root level.
Yeah, that sucks.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in that sense, it'll have to be, because I liked the idea of looking at the entire game all at one place and seeing like, oh, when you go in through this door, then it sort of opens you up into that. I feel like it helped even just contemplate where things are going, and I feel like it helped me not get confused about it. But like people make like are there some games that have been made in Godot that are games that I would like know about?
Plucky Squire? Was that made in there? There are some like actual known games. We can go look it up and if we wanted to. One thing that I forgot to mention and why I was so excited about Godot is that probably the biggest factor that got me a little excited is they said, hey, if you go with Game Maker Studio, you're going to be able to make some great games. There's some neat little like quality of life features that you like in there. But Godot has done a lot since they've gone to version 4. And they said, here's the reason why you want to go to Godot 4 or just Godot. Is because once you get to the point where you're like, yeah, I've been really kicked ass at 2D games, it's super easy to go to 3D.
Right. That's true.
And I was like, Ryan has 3D background.
Right.
And the guy that was at school, that's like one of the students that I like, he built a 3D game. And I was like, he's a smart guy. No, I'm not going to say he's not.
Sure.
But I was like, it seemed more accessible when I walked in and saw it on a screen and saw this guy had made an absolute 3D game. One of their other tutorials that you can purchase on there is how to make they called it a boomer shooter. So you could do a boomer like shooter. Yeah. So they show you how you can make some of those kind of games, or I think we're more in that adventure / boomer shooter kind of genre. What I think would be cool about this game that we're making is we could actually have them running up and down on like almost like a Castle Crashers version.
Yeah. Okay,
like,
that would be cool.
That's the vibe. Like if that's the pinnacle of my gaming aspiration so far is we make a Castle Crashers style version of the game.
You know what's hilarious? You just as a side note.
Yeah.
Castle Crashers huge in our house.
Hell yeah.
We play, it's a 4-player game, couch co-op, fun, funny, like, you know, great. Totally holds up the test of time. A new game came out literally on Tuesday of this week, and it's called Big Head Heroes. And it is a 3D version of Castle Crashers. And in fact, like they don't even like hold anything back, saying like all the little icons that you get are the same. There's certain scenes look exactly the same. You know what the issue is, and this, I hate to say this to whoever the devs are, only 2 players. You can only play with 2 players. And they even have, when you start the game, that has 4 little players sitting on a rock. And you're like, they wanted to make this 4 players and they couldn't or something. But anyway, I was playing it and I was like, this is fun. It's not on Game Pass, so I'd have to pay $25 for it. So I'm sort of like, do we think it's fun enough? But there was a demo. But anyway, like, I feel like a Castle Crashers style 2D thing that more emulates it, but in 2D and is fun. That could be totally fun.
I think that's the vibe we're going to be going with for our next game. Something to that
I
level.
love that.
So.
I love the idea of a Castle Crashers.
In Godot, I feel like can nail exactly
could
what that
do
is.
That type of thing.
So the last things before we go and talk about music and kind of get the last parts of Skullbobs tonight is when I was talking even to the guy or doing some of the research and seeing what people had said is a lot of them were like, yeah, I've tried a lot of the platforms. Godot just seems to be intuitive. Like I went to Unity and Unity was great, but you know, I just kind of like, I got to Godot and it just kept vibing with me. And so I must have been in that kind of thing because other people are pretty much like, yeah, I love Unity for whatever reason. Yeah. When I dabbled with Godot, it linked with my abilities to say like this makes sense. Nice. I love what it can do. It had all the features that I was wishing that it would have in GB Studio. So.
Right. Okay.
I was
nice.
excited. That was why I'm excited about it. So
totally. Hey, I'm into it, and you'll have to send me that link so that I can jump into that course.
I want you to, spend some time when you have time to just watch it.
Well, when I heard 87 episodes or whatever you were saying, but some of those are like
2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. 90 seconds.
Yeah. It's very bite sized. It's 11. Nice. It's so 11.5 hours.
Okay.
And then, are we ready to go talk about Skullbobs?
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
Turn off your mic.
Okay. I'm going to turn it off.
Alrighty. Well, let's finish out this night with some Skull Bob's work. We still got our 9 viewers out there. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Yeah. Or at least even lurking, if you're lurking. It is fun to hang out, and we would love to get some insights as we go along. If there's anything that you would want to see us do or talk about, we're always in for the challenge. So, Ryan, you've been working on the graveyard scene. Do you want to give us a little heads up on what you've been working on?
Well, it was sort of like my very first like cutscene image that we did in a Game Boy game. It's sort of the beginning of the game. We wanted to have like a graveyard scene of basically the burial of Robert Decker, one of our main characters, non-playable characters, but a big character in the game nonetheless. And he's just died, and that's sort of setting off a bunch of these actions for the whole rest of the game. And so we knew we needed like a pan across, and we were gonna have Roby walking through there. And really, I was just trying to make it look cool for the first version. And I was like, hey, I just need something that looks cool. And then, once we got it and I was looking at it, and then he was like, right, if you edited this a little bit, we could do some of this parallax scrolling that would be cool. So right now it's set in Colorado, so there's big mountains in the background, and there's sort of things in the foreground, gravestones in the foreground. And he was like, oh, if you made it a certain way, we could have those move on different axes as opposed to the main shot. And so I rebuilt it like that. And then I knew that it was too many unique pixel tiles, and so I was like, dang it, I gotta try to remove some of these. So what before used to be very bespoke headstones for each one of them now became like very similar headstones across different like layers of the scene. And I got it down some. There's like the worst part is there's a big crowd scene that's around the
So let's want to watch let's just watch this. I think this is
the original, right?
This is the original without the edits.
No new edits.
We will add the edits in a second. Let's listen to the music too.
Oh yeah,
if it's there, just because it'll be good. Nice. He's got that vibe down. I love it. All right, so let's watch the first scene. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the
put the ghost in there. The ghost won't be in there.
I'll take it out in a second. So, all right, let's take out the ghost. So part of this parallax was in there. So if I take the ghost out, I think it looked great except for the repeating parts at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, let me go back into the scene.
And one of the things was that I'm like, oh, it stops here, and we don't have our AB character in the background, so I want to like scoot him in closer to the action so that you could see him when the camera pauses. Because he's sort of he's one of our main characters, the guy with the glasses in the back. My son Weston, when he saw this, he was like, oh, you put Adam in the back as like a fun little like Easter egg. And I was like, no, that's one of our main characters, but I could see that with the glasses.
So wait, he thought I was AB?
Yeah, he was like, oh, there's, he just saw the glasses basically. And was like, you put Adam in there. That's fun.
All right. Well, here's what's kind of interesting is if you see the scene in this part right here, and I'll scroll to the side. See, it looks like great. Like all the scene is there. Nothing's all messed up at the bottom.
Yeah.
Over on the right hand side here, though, you can see it says background contains too many unique 8x8 tiles. So it was 529 when the limit's 384. You're close.
384. Yeah. Hey.
So let's run through. Oh, there's the new one. Let's run through it one more time because I took the ghost out this time.
Oh, okay.
I'll skip that part. Yeah, there I am. Nice. Okay, so that's the one that's broken, and we're gonna replace it.
Yeah, let's try it. I mean, it is definitely not 384, so it's still gonna do some breaking. for sure.
Okay, so this is the new one, and you've moved him in a little bit.
I moved him in. I moved the mountains down, and moved the clouds so that they're at the top. I moved the gravestones in the foreground so they're all in green for the so as it scrolls, hopefully it just makes sense that they're in the shadow, right, of this. And then I tried to duplicate a bunch of like people in the crowd and the gravestones and things like that so that they would, take less unique tiles.
Yeah, I think you're getting close there. So here's one thing I'm already gonna look at. So if I go to sprite canvas size, so it's 450. It's not a multiple of 8.
Oh yeah.
So
you can cut some off.
So
on the
what is the
side.
multiple of 8? I guess that's what it is. Like how many pixels is off to this side here? See this like little.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure my grid is at 8 by 8. Okay, it is at 8 by 8. I don't know. Let's just zoom in. Should be able to do maths.
2.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Ryan knows his
his pixels.
All right, so I should be able to cut it in
448.
48. Okay.
Perfect.
So that reduces a bunch of them because I was
Great.
counting all of those.
Oh yeah, each one of those.
So here's where I think we can save some money because it's taken some time for me to understand this, is that when you parallax scrolls, the side that it gives a crap about is just where the end point is, because that one's going the slowest. So it's never going to see any of these clouds.
It's never going to see those?
It's never going to see it in a parallax scroll. So what I'm going to do is this. I'll just duplicate the sky. I'll do this on the sky copy. I need to see where the breakpoint's going to be, but
sky is probably not those clouds. The sky is the yellow or like the
Oops.
white. You're looking at the clouds.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah.
There's clouds all.
Clouds all was before I started messing with them to make sure they stayed above a certain thing. Oh,
Okay.
and they moved.
Did they?
How
did they move?
Because I think you have clouds copy and clouds something.
No, that was it.
Oh, see, then they should stay. So then that bottom cloud is messed up because they need to stay within the first like top 3 tiles.
Yeah, because this one I can see kind of comes out.
Yeah. So this guy needs to.
Well, here's the
go
thing:
up one.
is that's the cloud I was going to remove.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's just say I took this cloud, and this should actually get them all. It won't get the mountain. Should be able to move it. Oh, what the hell? That's weird. Oh, because you had your other clouds on. Okay, so that gets it above. Because it has to be like this line.
I thought I had it above, but maybe not.
Maybe there was something going on when we adjusted the size. So I'm going to just delete these clouds because it's a copy.
Okay.
That should get us where we need to be.
All right, great.
So I will export as, and we will put this into Scobob's assets, backgrounds. Let's see here. Funeral. I want to save it over that. Yes. Okay. We should have it. Let's go back into the scene. Is that the new one? Yeah, that is the new one. I can tell it's the new one.
Yep.
Roby's not even in it.
No, I took Roby out because I was like, I don't want him taking up unique tiles.
Yeah, because we'll have him walk in. So
yeah, because he'll be like a character, right?
So it says 529, so it's exactly the same
What
limit.
the heck?
You have the same limit. Oh my god. Oh no, 420. Okay, 424. You're so close.
Yeah.
We're getting so close. I bet you
It's the crowd.
It's not just the crowd. Like, okay,
there's a little bit with like the grass at the bottom here because I did it on separate layers, like the texture of the shadow going through and like the grass along the edges of things.
It's funny how the Skullbob's bar at the beginning, doesn't that look way more detailed than this does? when it like does the scroll
Oh,
down.
right, yeah.
That's under.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of it's just like the brickwork
Because the
and
brick
stuff.
is just like duplicated. It's the problem with the biggest part of this one. And if you look at it, one of those things that shows you the like where it does it in red if it gets unused. It's the crowd on the left. Like that is just hundreds of different pre ones. So I'll probably have to go in and mess with that to just
Yeah, but like
duplicate
even this one. So for instance, this is like 1, 2, 3. Like there's 4 here.
But then that should be the same as this one on the left.
Yeah, that's true. But this one doesn't have.
But then that one
cross.
just doesn't have the top, so that's like one extra to make it the thing. But the sides and the everything else should be the same.
All right, so this should be the new one.
Okay.
We'll skip that. Ooh,
Nice.
that looks great.
I can't even tell where it's messing up.
Yeah, I can't either.
Right? And then Roby walks in from the left or something and then comes up around here and like looks at the grave and tosses something in or whatever. I don't know. Or
So here's the other thing is that this the coffin doesn't have to be in here either. That might be something that like has, because if that has to have an open lid or something,
like if it lowered down
or
or something, like it could be its own character, then maybe that could just be blank.
Because in the lower down, you're going to have to do that in the character itself. There's no like layering to make it actually go behind something.
Yeah. I like this scene. I might move this gravestone in the mid foreground to the right a little.
Yeah.
Just because it's like right on the edge. I don't like that, but I like I like with AB off to the right and you can see D off to the left.
That really came in good. I want to watch it again. It looked great. I think he did a good, the tombstones at the bottom, like it looked like
it did, like you were, it's like it was a shot from a movie, right?
We were really pushing the platforms. I mean, I got to tell you.
But like, imagine too, let's say we just had this is in Godot, right?
Oh my
You could do
God.
the exact same thing
Yes.
and have other things, but like you wouldn't have to care about how many unique whatevers there are.
Probably some other limitation we need to
that's true.
consider. So,
But still, if we're not doing like a super, I mean, these file sizes are tiny.
This looks so good.
And the sky kind of in the background.
It's like a little jittery, but I mean, it's Game Boy game, so
it's
you
Game
get
Boy.
it. God, that looks great. Yeah. Yeah, I think that, this tombstone might do well not to be there, because if like Roby walks in,
That's true.
does he walk in front of it? I mean, he'd have to walk right
I
above it.
sort of thought of him walking in front here.
Okay.
Like, and then up and over. But you're right. It doesn't like it. I don't know. It's sort of
looks
in
good.
the way,
Yeah.
for this stuff. So I could see removing that one.
The other cool part about this like thing that we're doing is if we create other scenes in game, you could have Roby walking back and forth, and that parallax will happen.
Right. That's cool.
That would look really cool.
Yeah.
Like this part could be he puts that in there, and then he walks through the graveyard or something.
Right. Like by himself or something, just like walking away.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
All right. I feel like that nails it. We're in the game. I really do still love the vibe of our game. It is so nice. So a couple things I was thinking is if we get to the weapon scene, we know that this weapon is going to be a bat.
Yeah.
We know
Cricket bat.
we don't have any other weapons.
No.
So that was supposed to be a gun, and that was supposed to be like a skull blaster.
Yeah.
Is what that was supposed to be. Okay.
No, I think it was bat, skull blaster, leveled up skull blaster or something, wasn't it? Like,
Okay.
or maybe there was a gun. Was there just like him having like a 22 or something like that?
I was
that he
just trying to
gonna
think
do
like
something?
if we limited the game itself, we definitely need to figure out what those things are. Specials, I think we got those figured out because it was the dash,
double jump.
double jump, and then what's the third?
Is it like wall jump?
Yeah, maybe it is wall jump. Yeah, wall jump. I like that.
Yeah.
Power ups was just that you could collect health.
Yeah.
And then you could come to this menu and like use one of them.
Give yourself that health.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And then he'd be level, because the level up is he can be up to, what would it be? It would be 10 health. At top amounts, he could have 10 health.
But I thought the like level or the giving him health was just refilling his health.
Yeah, but I'm saying like he starts out where he actually only has 3. Because I've showed you this.
So when you
before.
get the pizza, it adds 1?
Yeah, so you're basically
Okay.
starting at like mid health when you get into the game.
I see. Because he's hungover. I like that.
Yeah, he's not 100% yet.
Totally.
And if you're watching the game right now, you get to one of our secrets. Secrets. So here's the secret. If you've been on here and you play this game at some point in the future, if you go and kill this little roach and I got hit with something, doesn't matter. If you go down the hole and you instantly hold to the left, you go in this little like secret area,
nice.
and then he grabs the pizza. Maybe old, but I'm hungry. Num 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 num. Pizza restores full health, and look at that.
Oh man, and now you're at like
You're
full
at
5
full
bars.
health. Now you have to survive this whole level to keep all of those 5
Right,
health.
that makes sense.
But it's kind of like a little trick to say like, hey, if you want to keep that, but that's full health.
Yeah.
And so what my thought was that if you want to get to the end boss, you probably want, because it's kind of a pain in the ass, try to get yourself to full health.
That's true.
Before that point.
Well, I like the idea of sort of things that give you a tiny bit of health back to your normal thing being just in there, but then hidden things that give you extra little bits of whatever. Yeah, I think that would be neat.
Yeah, that's the pizza. There's only, oh crap. Shit.
Oh God.
I just lost some health. But I love that. Man, I can't. It doesn't look bad when it reloads when you go between those different sections, does
No.
it?
I hardly even noticed.
I got
The part that kills me about this is I cannot play it on keyboard.
Oh, man,
like almost at all. Like I can't get through any of this on with keyboard.
Oh, really? You have to do it on the...
Yeah, I have to do it.
I've gotten so good at keyboard. It's like ridiculous. It's just fun. You know, all the little jumps. It's probably because I had to test the crap of a ton of it. Okay, so I'm not going to play it in front of everyone. Music.
Yeah.
I think this is where we want to land at the end, because one of the things that we had been talking about, and if I go back to our guy, I'm going to jump into Double Drop Down, and we're going to talk about where we last left off, because he's waiting on us. And I've paid this guy, so we're at least in for 3 more tracks. I paid him for the first half of the bill.
Okay.
And the last time we talked to him, let me just see when this was. It was 122. Could probably extend the intro just a tiny bit to some more kicks in right as the camera finishes panning down. Yeah, I was like, absolutely love your attention to detail. So it's not been super far. It's a 13th today. So it's been about a month since we talked to him. So what I was thinking is we have that sweet intro scene. As that comes down, that sounds great. We're locked in. That's the Skull Bob's theme. We're
right.
Done. We're done with
well,
that.
because I feel like because right now it goes like into it, rockin' Skull Bob's theme, right? And then it goes into Graveyard Scene, which is, you know, a different sort of genre of music, I feel like. So I like the idea of it like coming down, Skull Bob's theme, right? And you're messing with menus and you're figuring things out. And then as you start, maybe it goes into the more like somber, like I know we talked a little bit more about like even the tavern music being slightly, you know, less rockin'.
Yeah,
right.
Agreed.
And so then this could be sort of like the one into that, and it's a little more contemplative, let's say.
And so here's something we could do. Watch this. All right, I think I could do it. If I go back up to this scene, I think I have it to where the audio. Yeah, okay. So that says stop music. Let me just check something here. Pause, select. Okay. So if I disable, let's see if I can get this to work. What you're saying is it goes into theme, and then it goes into somber music, and then it goes into bar music.
Yeah.
Those are the three versions.
Well, and I don't know if somber and bar are different, but maybe there's like a slowed down version of that or something.
I'm getting an error here. It says the funeral contains too many unique pixels.
No.
Why is it? It didn't give us any crap before.
Yeah, what the heck?
It was like, hey,
It just did it, and it looked great.
It did the thing. It's telling me that it's okay. Like I didn't see it get mad at me before, other than it just told me it didn't work.
Huh.
But I just stopped the music. And the reason I stopped the music is that if this works, it should just play through. Like it will go through and then keep repeating itself as you get into the new scene. And you can kind of see where the vibe is a little too bouncy is what I was getting at. All right, so let's see if we can get this. I don't know why that's doing that, but it puts it behind it. Okay, so let's see if this does it. Of course that did that. All right. So I see where he wants it to hit right when you get to the bottom. Oh, okay. Damn it, it cuts it because I must have something on it. Like you don't want the Skull Bob's theme bumping at that point,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like it's gotta like like I imagine in a real game there would be some kind of like transition music that would go from like hardcore to something. So it'd be right when you hit it, it'd be like.
I like how you don't think this is a real game, right?
With unlimited resources, that's what would happen.
Well, I mean, you would just you would cut it, and then you could fade the music on and that, and then it would just fade up in the other side. Is how here's the other stop music, because that was that was funeral scene. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll disable these events.
And what is he waiting on us for?
To tell him what we want.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we have to basically say, so we're on board for. Let's see here. I think it's 6 to 8 tracks right now.
Yeah.
And so we've paid for at least, we got the first one, at least 2 to 3 more right now.
So
bar.
I think we need bar, right? We need like, we just need hanging out at the bar and walking around music, right? We need walking around music. And then maybe somber music. Like we are going to have like moments where like stuff is going down, right? Like him finding the skull and him learning about things and him like
doesn't
it sounds like Mega Man is about to like burst out of that coffin.
And see, like he goes now this
it's a little too much. It's too much. That's like it seems like a different type of game, but I like it as like a beginning thing.
Yeah, I think at the beginning it rocks it.
And I feel like when I always think of like, hey, here's the main theme, right? Different versions of it are just like I want it to feel like the same music. There's just like a slow version of that, right? You know, that's kind of like this, but it's reminiscent of this theme song, but is sort of like a more somber version, right? Or maybe there's like an Irishy take to it or something, right? Like it sort of has the same vibe, but is used in different situations.
And this is like when we're gonna do some epic thing at the end. It's gonna kick in,
and it's gonna kick in, right? Or you find something, and it's like, oh man, and now you're going into this. It should feel like the adventure part, you know? I almost feel like, when some like big action set piece is happening. Like I could even see this in the basement. Ooh. You know, like if you were in the basement and you were jumping around and doing things and dodging stuff, like I could see that being the song for the basement.
The thing that I'm gonna have to solve for, and we have the little jump sound, but listen to this. It messes the music up.
Oh yeah.
Because there's only 4 tracks on Game Boy.
Right.
And so I'm using one of the tracks on the, oops. Can't even jump on a stupid thing.
Is it just cover up some of the music?
Yeah. Because there's 4 tracks that hits.
You know, it's like, I feel like that's just going to kind of have to be what it is, right? Like, you got to be able to have music or sound effects.
We can make it a little different. It doesn't have to be as long of a jump. It could just be like, there's other haptic almost feedback that you can do. So you're saying this is it, right?
I mean, couldn't you
good.
see that? Like, I could see like the platformy parts having this.
Yeah, this is platforming parts.
Yeah. But then when you're sort of back into the like real world, it's almost like these are the supernatural, or like you by yourself figuring out things and learning stuff in here. But then the bar is kind of like, this is kind of like we're back in the real world.
Yeah. The only thing is that we'll have to like get a cut of it where it doesn't have that first.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how we like we play this every single time. This is the hardest little part. This like this little like jump. I've gotten a little bit better at it though.
I feel like it's a lot easier with a controller.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe I'm just gotten used to it now though. Whew.
Yeah, I built it. I tested like you could just run off of that.
Yeah, nice.
You know, this looks good. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do the jumps. Like this, how many jumps you would do? It kind of cuts the music a little bit, but we okay with that?
Yeah, I feel like that seems fine.
Because he said that he could
leave a whole track open.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to limit him like that.
I wouldn't either.
If what the thing that we're gonna get is just this tiny little bit of distortion when he jumps, like I'm fine with that.
I just want to show you this because I haven't seen. Had you seen that?
Yeah.
That took so long to make and program. That's why I'm like, yeah, I can see how to do that in Godot. It's gonna be sweet.
So then now it would be back to
Then it would be back to bar
like
music.
bar music.
Yeah. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
By the way, I made it so all of his music, you can turn his music on and off here.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So that was good because I wanted to see the vibe of him running. Like it gets you. You're like, I want to get out of here. I'm trying to get this thing done.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I need to be progressing.
It needs is like a stinger. Kind of like right when you get out of it, it has to be like
yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say, like transition bits, but I don't know if GB Studio can handle that.
Oh, 100% can.
So it could be like when you hit the door, stop this music and do the transition one, and then when he comes out of the door and it's the other part, now play the bar music. Okay,
you absolutely could do that.
So I mean, I don't know if that's part of what, the composer is wanting to, or, has in store, but I feel like that could be a good one.
Said you could cut some parts and pieces off of it, so I think it's totally doable. So I think where we're at now is the next thing that we should probably be asking for is bar music. I would feel better to have that because this is our hub.
Yeah.
It's like hub music.
Because this one's important for sure.
And so we gave him some different vibes of songs. Let's see here. Journey Through Pixel. Let's see here. Not that one.
But I think it needs to be a vibe of the one stuff that we already have.
It does,
right? Like it needs to be a version.
I'm trying to get the pacing though, is what I was trying to get to.
Like it should feel more like, we're just sort of hanging out, right? Like we're hanging out at the bar and it's kind of tinkly and in the background and interesting still. Like I don't want it to just be like, the same kind of thing over and over again. It should still have little trill moments. And we talked about like sort of it having a little alien feel to it, right? Like there's sort of that always underlying thing of yes, this is normal, but we're also kind of in a sci-fi adventure, right? Like with aliens and with stuff like that. So if it kind of had those trilly moments as like flourishes, but it's still felt like you were just kind of in a normal bar environment.
I think you're hitting on it. So you take the original theme. So Will, we're sending this to you right now. So we're talking to you directly on the stream tonight.
True.
If we could get the bar, so there's a lot of energy that comes with those initial theme, and we're loving it. The theme is like, it nailed it. We got that down. We get into the bar now. How does it feel like you walked into more of a, it's like a slower roll kind of bar with some elements of the theme in there, but it has to not like feel like it's driving you to go and do something. Think
Right.
about like you're in more of like exploratory adventure.
Yeah, exactly. This is the hub world. This is the overworld, right? This is where you're talking to more people. This is where you know, like you're exploring. And so you don't want it to feel like, oh my God, I'm running out of time or something like that, which is a little bit what the like platforming levels with the theme sounds like, which is good. That's what you want for those, because you're like, yes, move forward and figure out this puzzle or figure out this platforming sequence. But the other one, that it feels like it'd be grating if it was on you all the time.
Yeah, and so I think what we'll do is that in the original theme, we probably need a cut where it doesn't have like the intro scroll down. It's like when you get into adventure mode, you just want to be in an adventure
that makes
theme.
sense.
That happens.
So, and as long as that's like a loop, right? That basically has a nice loop.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. We're going to need a loop. And so then for this next part, so the way that we can kind of roll this through is, and you may have watched us play the platformer part, which would use the original theme. Makes a lot of sense for that, you know, with that first part cut off, because the scroll down
Right.
really only makes sense for that first scene. And then as you get into the bar, is there a part of the theme that you're imagining in the bar? Because you said like you wanted the trilly part. Like, is it when it gets to the sci-fi-esque kind of thing, or are you saying it's going to be something else? So
I don't know. That feels like something to sort of play with, right? Like,
Okay.
you know, for the composer to think about, because I don't know exactly.
So we hear this. This is great for the intro.
Yeah.
So we need just
Right.
from about there, like that's got to be a cut that's looped really well, so that could go into all our
This part, basically.
this part.
Like, this part needs a loop, right? So we can have this during the platforming section.
I like how it cuts into this too.
Yeah, totally.
Like
This
whole thing.
is a whole loop. This is all part of the loop, I feel like, because that's interesting. It changes it a little bit, right? And it doesn't just feel like the same thing over and over again. Love this part. And that's where, like, see this, like, dun 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 dun. Like, I could see that being part of, like, hanging out in the bar, right? It's like dun 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 dun, and then it just doesn't. But it just doesn't keep ramping up like this one does. It's just sort of, it does a little ramp up, and then it's like, okay, now we're like sort of back, and we're just hanging out like in the mode. And so it like keeps it from just sounding like elevator music in the background. Like it's that's why I was saying it's like I would like it to still be interesting, but just interesting in a calmer way for an exploratory section.
Yeah, because then you know
Love
what?
that. That's like I love that whole
I'm trying
part.
to think about it. Like it had that first part, but it never went back. It's been looping, right?
Well, because I think that's what he's doing is this is still one part of the song. I don't think it's looped. You'll hear it loop back and start the,
Has it?
I think.
I've not heard it
does.
loop one time.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't yet, but I think it's still because it's a 90-second song or something.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Is that? Well, I haven't listened to it that long enough to see it.
Yeah,
so.
like I love the idea of that, like dun 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 dun, like being there, right? It's like
Maybe they're. Is that the?
because that was like the spookier part that we wanted, like
Right. I think it. It's looping like it don't have that first part, right?
All right,
Is that
great?
I don't know how that happens. I don't even know how that works. Maybe I'm dumb on how these things go, but the loop is like on, right?
No, I think it will go back eventually. How could it not?
But this has been going on way too long. There's no
it's
way.
like 90 seconds. isn't
Dude,
it?
you said that like 90 seconds ago. I swear. It should have looped by now. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm. It just keeps going. Like, that's not it, right? Because we've heard this before. We just heard it. And then it goes right back into it. Boom. It just hits in the beat. I don't know how that works. That's so good. Right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Oh my god, that's funny. Alright, so let's watch your scene. I know we're at nearly at time tonight, so we're gonna get bar scene music. I'm glad we got some time to spend this. This looks good. You did a great job. Alright. One more time just to prove it and make sure. Oh shit, forgot.
She's going forever.
Yeah, see.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know how he got it to loop at that point. It must be just like play this, and it's coded in there to say once you play this once, never come back
play
to
that
it
again. Sure.
That's really
Like
crazy.
it plays through once and then it just starts the loop at a different spot. All right. Great.
I don't know how that works, William. You're a maniac. You programmed it into the song. I love it. All right. Well, Ryan, it's been a good show.
Yeah.
It's always some good stuff to talk about.
Totally.
Enjoyed some time with you tonight. That card game was great.
Right. I'll just keep that in my bag and we'll play that. We'll whip those out when we want.
We had so much engagement. Thank you for everyone hanging out
Appreciate
tonight.
everyone.
Thanks to the lurks later on. I know the DIY stuff gets a little bit inside stuff, but the start of the show, I think it's a good format. We get to have the talks with everyone.
Yeah.
By the time they're like, all right, I need to actually go do some other work in my life here, then we can focus on our game.
And then that part is like, okay, we just actually need to dig into the game and do a working session here for an hour and a half, or we're never gonna get through it.
Right. It worked out well.
Make decisions, right?
Make decisions.
Like telling the composer what we need for next music tracks.
So thank you everyone for hanging out tonight. It makes it a special hangout, and then we can hang out with everyone. We will see you next time on the Hangout with Adam and Ryan. And until then, enjoy, stay warm.
Yeah, have a good Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, have that. Who celebrates Valentine's Day? All right, peace out.
Bye.